All right, what is up, you guys? Welcome, everybody. Big day today. We're going to see if Trump actually goes through with ending a civilization. I cannot believe I read that today. He said their civilization will die. Those are absolutely terrifying words for anybody who does not want conflict or believe in wanton killing. So, bottom right corner, please repost the space. We'll get into that in a minute. I'll read it. If you're over on YouTube, please like the channel and share it with your normie friends. Lots to discuss today. I think that we're in the middle of some kind of really, really scary times, right? Like there is so much happening at once that seems existential, right? Like these are very existential times. I think that's the best way to describe it. That there are so many things happening at once with AI and jobs and people's livelihoods and purpose. And then we have a lot of religious conflict going on. There's a meta crusades going on between Judaism and Islam and Christianity. It's really crazy right now. So at least just take a moment, right? If you believe, pray for our country, pray for our world, pray that we find peace and that we are led in the right direction. I can tell you this much: war with Iran is not going to benefit anybody but a very few, right? It is going to benefit a very few. I'm not saying that it's not going to benefit anybody at all. Obviously, it will, because otherwise we wouldn't be doing it. But it will definitely only benefit a few. And it's definitely not America first. Watching the attacks on like Trump supporters today, I saw a massive account, like 400,000 or 500,000 followers, very big in Con Inc. world. Go on to a smaller account, a woman's post saying that she did not vote for war, and just trashing her, bro. This is This is cult mentality. This is exactly what they claim the left does. They are guilty of. They're hypocrites, right? Trying to bully people. He actually called her a Karen. And I'm like, dude, you're running around policing other people's content and their posts. You're the fucking Karen. You might as well ran up to her and said, "Can I talk to your manager?" Right? It was that kind of shit. So do me a favor, repost the space. I'm going to have Grok tell us where we're at with the Iran war, and we'll go from there. If you have any questions or comments, tag me or put them down in the comments section. Tag me, let me know what you think, and we'll go from there. Grok, give us a current update on the Iran war.
Haha, all right. Consider me tagged. What are we dropping? Memes? Hot takes? Conspiracy theories? I'm ready either way.
Grok, tell us the current situation with the Iran war in the United States.
Right now, April 7th, 2026, the US is deep in an active war with Iran that kicked off back in late February. It's a joint US-Israel operation, started with surprise airstrikes that took out Iran's top leadership, nuclear sites, and military bases. President Trump calls it Operation Epic Fury, and things are heating up fast. Iran's still choking the Strait of Hormuz, basically blocking most oil traffic, jacking global prices sky high, and demanding yarn payments from anyone who wants through. Trump set a hard deadline: reopen it by 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, or face massive US strikes on bridges, power plants, the works. He went full dramatic on Truth Social, saying a whole civilization will die tonight if no deal. Iran's rejected every ceasefire pitch, called them surrender, and urged civilians to form human chains around key sites like power stations. Just today, US forces hit military targets on Karg Island, their big oil export hub, while Israel pounded bridges, rails, and energy spots. Iran fired back with missiles and drones at US bases in Kuwait, plus Israel and Gulf allies. Casualties are climbing. Dozens dead in Iran, including kids. US troops wounded. Iran's air defenses are shredded. No sign of a deal yet, Talks via Pakistan fizzled, and Iran's president says millions volunteered to defend. Markets are freaking out, oil's spiking, and everyone's bracing for what happens post-deadline. Wild times. Feels like we're on the edge. What part do you want to dig into?
What's the latest? And then we'll move away from the AI. What is the latest with the peace negotiations through Pakistan?
All right, latest on the Pakistan talks. It's tense, but still breathing. As of right now, late evening, April 7th, 2026, Pakistan's pushing hard. Their PM just asked Trump to push that 8 p.m. Eastern deadline back 2 weeks, floating a short 2-week truce to buy time for real talks. Iran's open to it. Officials say they're positively reviewing the idea. No full buy-in yet, but it's not dead. They dropped their own 10-point plan through Islamabad. Permanent war end, sanctions lift, safe Hormuz passage with some shared fees for rebuilding. Trump called it significant, but basically trash, not good enough. Wants the strait open now or else. No face-to-face yet, all indirect via Pakistan's army chief and diplomats. Vance's even jumped in on calls. But Iran's cut off some channels after the threats, and strikes keep rolling. US hit Karg again today. Israel took out bridges and a petrochemical spot. Deadline's ticking, about 2 hours left if no extension, and Trump's still saying final, though he's delayed before. Pakistan says talks are progressing, but everyone's bracing. Oil's at $144 a barrel, ships barely moving. Feels like brinkmanship. Could blow up or buy time. You want to pivot to something else now?
Brock, I want you to read Trump's tweet verbatim about ending civilization for Iran.
Here it is, straight from his Truth Social post this morning, verbatim, no edits. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight, one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. Posted at 8:06 a.m. Eastern, April 7th. Pretty intense stuff. He's basically saying Iran's old regime is toast either way, but if they don't fold by 8 tonight, boom.
Go ahead, Logic. Logic, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here. Logic's locked in.
Are you there?
What's
Can you
on
hear
your
me?
mind?
Sorry about that. My
Yes.
mic was on. Hey, I just wanted to point out about 12 minutes ago, 13 minutes ago, something happened in the stock market. The SPY, which is the ETF that tracks the S&P 500, jumped 1% in a 1 minute candle. So, well, on high volume. So something was announced, something happened. It's irregular, but it happened about 13, 14 minutes ago. You can pull up a
What,
chart and
right
see it.
before closing? I mean, the stock market's
No,
closed for the day. It's
no, it's after hours. So the SPY is can be traded all the way up until 7 o'clock, and then it opens again at 3 in the morning. So something absolutely happened 13 minutes ago. I'm not really sure what's up, but it's definitely an indicator of something.
I mean, it's been rug pull after rug pull after rug pull. Right? Like
Yeah. I wish I could. I wish I could share the chart with you or share a picture with you so you could see it. It's an
post
absolute
it
anomaly.
post it down
Yeah,
in the purple pill and tag me and I'll take a look at it. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, it is. Well, that's interesting, but I mean, from what I see on the timeline, it doesn't look too promising. I mean, I don't know. It
Yeah, I
doesn't
hear
seem
you. No
like
worries about the mic.
Trump's
Happens all
going
the time.
to give in.
That
He doesn't
SPY
seem
jump?
happy with any kind of extension. He doesn't, and Iran doesn't seem to be okay with just conceding entirely, right? Like I don't. Pakistan's asking for an extension. I don't see that happening. Trump signaled that it wasn't likely, right? So I guess we'll see. I don't know, man. I think that Israel wants this regime to be annihilated, right? And they want Iran, sent back to the Stone Age. And I think that whatever is compelling Trump to do what he's doing is it's going to bow down. It seems like that's been the consistent stance here, is that he capitulates to what they want. So I'll let you guys kind of ascertain why that is. We've discussed that at nauseum here in these spaces. But now that we're filling up a little bit, do me a favor, you guys, go down to the comment section, hit the repost button. If you have something you want to add to the conversation while we wait for the countdown, we are 1 hour and 45 minutes away from Trump's deadline. He said that if Iran does not come to a deal with the United States by 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, he is going to, quote unquote, end their civilization, bombing their infrastructure, their power plants, their oil manufacturing facilities, their bridges, stuff like this, their infrastructure. He has promised to wipe it out. So I pretty ominous words to see from him. I have to say, I know Trump is Trump and he does mean tweets, but this doesn't read like a mean tweet. I'm just going to read it for everybody one more time. Okay. It says, quote, a whole
Yeah,
civilization
spot
will
on.
die tonight,
Trump's not budging.
never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have a complete and total regime change where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary, wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the people of Iran. Now, how is he going to say God bless to them when he starts about wiping out their civilization?
He's saying it because he's
it's
framing this as
crazy to
saving
me.
Iran.
This is just crazy to me. There have been calls by some Republicans now, and I don't agree with this, to invoke the 25th Amendment on him, which is to say that he is mentally unfit for office and try to remove him. Now, that requires an act of Congress, and I think it also requires all of the senior cabinet officials to get behind. They all have to sign off on that. Um, I don't see that happening, but there was a push in Congress petition. When the last time I looked, there was about 55 to 60 members of Congress, including a few Republicans, who were signing a petition to try and get Trump removed through the 25th Amendment. Now, I believe that this is all preemptive narrative to create a very unpopular, to cast Trump in an unpopular light, and get enough favor behind removing him so they can install JD Vance. JD Vance is created by the deep state. I mean, he was a protege of Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel started Palantir with InQtel. InQtel is the CIA's venture capital firm. Right? So he was like pretty much created by the CIA. Right? So I think that all of this is staging up to removing Trump and installing JD Vance so that they have their guy in, and that's a scary thought. Like a leader that's completely created by the deep state, completely created by the CIA. JD Vance isn't even his real name. That's a creation. His identity is a creation. So very, very troubling times, to say the least. Go ahead, Logic.
Hey, did you end up seeing that picture I tagged you in?
No,
What that is depicting, it's the stock market as basically as like a whole jumping 1% up in 1 minute. So that's what that picture is showing, which before there's been things that happened before, some anomalies and some trades that happened where something leaked early or there was some insider information. This kind of looks like the same thing here, is that it's just too big of a move to be just organic. So just kind of wanted to point that out to start the space.
I Grok, can you look into the stock market jumping like he's talking about and elaborate on that and what it indicates?
Yeah, that SPY spike you're talking about, around 6 p.m. Eastern, right? From what I can pull up, after hours trading today was choppy, but no clean 1% pop in a single minute candle shows up in the public feeds. Close was around 659.22, then it drifted to 664.83 by 614. That's about 0.85% total gain over the hour, not a flash jump. Volumes there, sure, but nothing screaming anomaly like a leak or insider dump. Could be a quick algo reaction, maybe some chatter on extension rumors hit wires, or traders betting on Trump blinking before 8. Markets are jittery with the deadline. Oil's wild. Futures twitched earlier on no sign of compliance news. If it was real, it'd point to someone front-running a deal announcement, like Pakistan's push or a quiet back-channel win. Happens all the time in geopolitics. Remember how futures spiked pre-Trump posts before? Feels like that, but scaled down. If you got the chart handy, drop more deets. Timestamp, exact
Grok,
price before.
Grok, scan X for posts that people are making unusual large bets that the deal will be reached by 8 p.m. tonight on the betting markets.
Yeah, scanned X. Plenty of chatter on polymarket whales piling into the US x Iran ceasefire by April 7 market, which ties right into tonight's 8 p.m. deadline. Odds are sitting around 34% yes right now, meaning the crowd thinks a deal's unlikely before midnight, but not impossible. Volume's massive, over 26 million bucks just on that slice. Big moves? Folks are betting hard against it. Saw 22K on no at 67 cents, 9.2K at 83 cents, even a 17K sell-off against ceasefire at 35%. But there's upside too. One whale dropped over 100K on yes at 39 cents, another 6K at 33. Feels like some are hedging or front-running a last-minute flip. Maybe if Pakistan pulls a miracle or Trump blinks. No single unusual large bet screams insider leak, but these 10 to 20K swings in the last hour? That's whale territory, especially with deadline looming. Markets price it low. Think 3 to 5% in some feeds earlier. But if a deal drops, those yes buyers cash huge. Wild volatility. Oil's reacting too. You seeing anything else pop up?
What's up, Destiny? Can you speak? Go ahead,
Yes, I
Logic.
can. Hello.
Hey,
Destiny, where's
Destiny.
your money? Hold on, Logic. Where's your money at, Destiny?
My money's on hope. I want the good things. So I'm hoping that the deal is met by 8 p.m. hopefully, and that nothing happens bad. That's my hope. But I didn't bet money on it. I don't bet money on war.
Yes, it's crazy. It's crazy. 26 million. That's how much it is on Polymarket. She said 26
I bet
million.
on a lot of other things in the government, like who's going to leave next and stuff like that on Kalshi. But I wouldn't bet on war. No.
Go ahead, Logic.
Yeah, so I guess the way to address like Grok on this one is the 621 Eastern minute candle on the SPY jumped $6 in 1 minute, which is equal to about 95 or 0.95%, with $128,000 in volume.
Yeah, that 621 candle you're describing, a $6 pop, roughly 0.95% on 128,000 volume. Sounds nuts, especially after hours when liquidity's thin and big moves can look way bigger than they are. From what I'm pulling, Yahoo and CNBC feeds show SPY closed regular at 659.22, then climbed to 664.83 by 6:14 p.m. Eastern. That's about 5.6 bucks total in the first hour plus of after hours. No single minute jumps out as a clean $6 spike. It's more like a steady grind up, maybe algo fueled on some rumor. Volumes in the millions overall, like 4.9 mil by 6:01, but nothing flags 128K as the exact bar. Could be a platform-specific view or a burst in that window. If it's real, yeah, Classic sign of front running. Someone caught wind of a deal whisper, Pakistan extension leak, or Trump softener before it hit wires. Happens with geopolitics. Markets sniff it early, but no public chart screams anomaly like a flash crash, more like hype building toward 8 p.m. Deadlines closing fast. If no news drops soon, expect a dump. You got the exact platform? Thinkorswim might
I think that we're
I'll drop in the comments so you can see it.
yeah, do you think that we're gonna reach a deal, Logic? Like, what do you think? It sounds like you're leaning towards yeah. Logic.
He's
Let's go
Hey,
commenting right
to
sorry.
now.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I was just trying to post that real quick,
yeah,
but
you're
yeah,
good.
yeah. The market, right? The way that I'm reading the way this market is happening, it's screaming deal in this after hours. Like it seems as though like it because it's such an anomaly. That's why I want to post it. It's important because it doesn't just move like that. You don't just jump up 1% in a minute candle. It's like I've been trading for what since like 2013, so I'm pretty I understand it. This is the type of move that happens when Jay Powell talks about rate cuts and all that stuff, where it's just flash crash or flash up. So it was just a big anomaly that I thought that to bring to the attention. So for me, it seems as though something's happened behind the scenes and somebody's caught wind of it, as though a deal is being made.
Oh, like insider trading on war?
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Shit's so corrupt, bro. So fucking corrupt. Go ahead, Reptile. Welcome.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, that's what Logic's saying. You know what? The market's already priced it in. Iran's not going to get nuked. They're not going to destroy the whole civilization. But, even if it is just talking trash or five-dimensional chess, can you believe the sitting president talking like that, Diligent? All the Western world, I know people in Australia are just scratching their heads going, what the hell is going on? Have we ever seen anything like that?
I never have. No, nobody's ever seen this in their lifetimes, I don't think. It's unconscionable, right? Like it's inexcusable.
Just a couple of things. People can take it or leave it, mate. The president doesn't even have the power to do it. And even if he wanted to do it and went crazy, mate, he wouldn't be able to do that. The president's just a puppet. Logic's onto it, mate. The market's pricing it in. It was probably all a ruse, regardless. But we're not supposed to talk like that. We're supposed to pretend that we're the good guys and then kill everybody behind the scenes. You know what I mean, man?
What do you, so you think that this is all just front running? It's going to be okay.
It's
You think
all
it's
it's all a big show. It's all a big scam. We're about to go into some good times. I know that sounds crazy. Remember when he first came in and everyone thought it was going to go good, Logic? What happened? The opposite. Now everyone thinks it's the end of the world. Nope. Be bullish, mate. Good times are coming. Love you, Donnie.
the golden age?
I love the enthusiasm for sure.
Go ahead. Let's go to fuck off. Go ahead. All right, don't come on stage unless you're ready to speak. Come up here and put your hand up, or come up here and talk. Amira, go ahead.
What is he even talking about? Good times ahead. We're about to have all serious issues with gas prices, food prices, goods, and all of the things that, we're already struggling with, but even worse. So I don't see that as being a good time. And I'm sorry, but this psychological warfare that our president is inflicting on us is so unhealthy. Like my stomach is in knots all the time. And it's disgusting. And I'm so ashamed and embarrassed.
You mean you don't like getting psyoped by your leaders?
Well, yeah, I don't like that at all. But I mean, this is way too far. This is a step way too far. I've never seen anything like this before in my life. And I know
What did you think when you read that this morning, that a whole civilization will die?
it made my stomach go into knots and made me scared for those beautiful people over there, and scared for us, scared for the world, because that's just like, starting Armageddon, and I noticed that uh Shapiro came out and said the Bible says, that it's perfectly okay that, and that the Bible says it's okay to wipe out Iran, and I'm I know he's talking about some Old Testament thing, but still, like they're the way that they are promoting this, and then the Israeli TV had a countdown to Trump's deadline. It was like a countdown on New Year's Eve. I mean, this is wickedness. This is wicked and evil, and in scary, scary times. And Trump is out of control. Like, I had unfollowed Alex Jones a while back because I noticed all he was doing was carrying water for this administration. And I was like, what happened to you? He disgusts me. And then today I saw that he's now calling for the 25th Amendment. And I'm like, at this point, what difference does it make? JD Vance is all in on this. I hear the comments that's coming from him. Yeah, they're not as, unhinged as Trump, but it's still the same policy. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think it's all staged. Like it's all staged, right? Like, they have a plan that they're executing. If JD Vance is again, I think that they're propping up JD Vance to be the new president. Trump is unpopular. JD Vance is coming in as the white knight, the good guy, good cop, bad cop, and they're propping him up to install him as president. I would put money on it. I would put money on it that Trump is removed from office or resigns before his term is up, and JD Vance will be our president.
I agree with you 100%. However, the policy still remains. And they literally tried to go in and pull off an operation of stealing uranium, and it didn't work out for them. And they're still bombing, and the civilians are they all we did was unite them. They had all these different talking points. Oh, it's nuclear. Then it was we need to save the people. The people are rallying behind their government, and rightfully so. Like we are, I don't know. I don't know where we are, and and I don't think I'm not sure it'd be any different with a Democrat president because I remember when Kamala was being interviewed and asked, who's the extra. Who's the biggest adversary for America? And she too said Iran. So maybe, they would have done it differently. And, the threats would have been in the background instead of, on a true social post. But I think we were going in this direction anyways. And and it has nothing to do with the American people. Like people are struggling and we desperately wanted our country back. And we were hoodwinked in a really bad way, in a scary way now. Like, and what is our alternative? Oh, you vote the Democrats back in to, reverse some of this. But no, it's the same. And I just don't know what our solution is anymore. I really don't know what to do anymore.
It does seem pretty like you seem powerless, right? Like it seems like we're powerless to change any of this. I put that in my post today. I was like, why are you laughing, Destiny?
Because I just did like a long series on exactly the strategic military reasoning behind why that everyone feels that way. There's a reason.
Yeah, I know it's demoralization, but I'm just saying,
No,
like,
no, no, no. It's not. It's informational learned helplessness, but it's similar.
okay. So there is we're not powerless. I know that there is like this vast like feeling that we are powerless. I still think that we need to just quit playing the game. I think that's the only way to win is to stop playing the game. Um,
I
I
don't
don't
have the
th-
desire to
there's there
play it.
is there is no voting your way out of this. Period. There's no voting your way out of this. So why are you laughing, Destiny? Go ahead, push back.
Because the statement when people say it, and I used to say it too, and I've heard it, but to say like we're not voting our way out of this, well, nobody's saying that you're gonna vote your way out of it. At least nobody's sane is saying that. But removing participation is the entire purpose of the campaign put against us. That's the purpose. So you're gonna do exactly what they want if you give up.
Give up what? Give up what?
If you remove yourself from, like, participating in government and participating in the voting process, like that's the number one thing that especially foreign nations
Who's
want us to
they?
do.
Who's they?
Well, like I just said, foreign nations especially, but our government system, particularly, the NSA, CIA, they're hoping that Americans, they know they can't take Americans' freedom. We have to give it up. And that's what they want. They want us to say, oh, well, there's no point, and
Does
you
this
can't vote
seem
your way
like
out.
freedom to you? What's happening right now? Does it feel like?
No, no, but I'm saying there are other methods than just
I mean, did
completely
we all
giving up.
make it? We are ruled by consent. So we all just consented to have Trump be our president, or most of us, majority of us. And does it feel like that was actually what happened there?
Well, obviously not. Obviously,
We
he didn't uphold
participated in the
any of his
system
campaign
and it did
promises.
not matter, is my point. Like, obviously it's a facade, right? It doesn't matter. We participated overwhelmingly and won, at least I did, and the results are not, they haven't changed. To continue to participate is the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same action over and over again and expecting different results.
Well,
That's
well,
not.
the idea is not to expect different results and not to do the exact same actions, but to still participate, but to learn their propaganda better. There were some people that saw a lot of this coming. I wasn't one of them because I voted for Trump too. I didn't see it coming. I didn't want this. Nobody did, but there were signs that some people out there were able to pick up that we need to just be better at learning some of those signs, but they are learnable and there are ways to improve our discernment for the future. And when we do that, that is when we participate, and that participation matters more.
But Destiny, what was our alternative? I mean, really, what was our alternative?
Well, that's the thing, we can't retroactively go back and change time, so like it's not that it's pointless to talk about. It's not, but it's the thing is that it's we are where we're at now, and we have to learn the environment we're in better than we went into it last time. We went into it last time thinking we had trust in areas we shouldn't have had trust in, and we need to learn what areas to have more scrutiny of moving forward. But we can improve the situation. It's not a loss. That is a manufactured feeling that is created intentionally.
Really, because you look at all of those in Congress that are supporting, the Republicans that are supporting, they're not doing anything for us. Destiny, nothing.
Well, they're not impervious to this tactic either. They're not. Nobody is spared this. Congress is not special cognitively. They're just regular human beings like us, and their brains work like us, which is why they fall for the same manipulation we did.
Well, I don't see them pushing back on them. I don't see them all coming out and saying, "Hey, this is a red line. We're Americans. We don't do this." I don't see any of them doing that.
I agree. I completely agree. I see the scenario we're in, and I just like with them, I'd say the same thing for us is that they also need to be discerning of the arena they're in and be able to, because without that, you can't make better decisions. They're like us, lambs to slaughter, until we recognize these specific tactics and learn how to discern better. And they need to do the exact same thing. They're not special.
So Trump just put out a post, quote, based on conversations with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Azim Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agree to suspend the bombing attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double sided ceasefire. The reason for doing this is so that we have, doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We have received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America, as president, and also representing the countries of the Middle East, It is an honor to have a long-term problem closed to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So, okay, so it says subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete and immediate safe opening. So this is him saying on our side, he is willing to do the 2-week ceasefire as long as they open the Strait of Hormuz, right? So this is not a peace deal. He is declaring on his side that he is willing to seed a ceasefire in exchange for the opening of Hormuz. So we'll see what they say. Go ahead. Go
They're
ahead.
not, wait a minute. They are not going to agree to this. I don't know if this is his way of trying to get out of it or what, but I'm going to tell you right now that Iran is not going to open the strait. They're not going to agree to a ceasefire because they already know that it's just going to give us an opportunity to, replenish our arms and things like that nature. That what they are asking for, what I know that they are asking for is actually fair and legitimate. One, no more sanctions at all. Two, our military out of the region. Three, they control the strait. And four, I think Israel stops bombing Lebanon and taking over the land over there and the Palestinians. I know that those were in there. I don't know what other stipulations they have, but I can guarantee this is not true. They're not going to do it, and I think this is his way of saying, "Hey, I tried. I put a peace effort forward. They rejected it, so I had to bomb them." I don't know. This is off.
Jump in if you have your
Well,
hand up.
it's definitely not
Iran
an agreement,
also
that's for
had
sure.
another stipulation that
Okay.
the stipulation that Iran added to that, Amir, and you've got all those right, but the other one that I thought you didn't say was that Iran stated they do not want to have any more attacks on their country, zero. And that's directly is pointed at Israel as well. Now we have to understand, is Israel going to hold up to this? Okay, that is a real important element. So far,
Most important.
I don't believe that we have been absolutely step by step with them. And I don't believe we've necessarily been in control over them. And I don't believe that we have absolutely the exact same goals that they do. And I'm talking about the Greater Israel Project. So, that's all I have to say about that. I'm glad this is at least held off. We don't get apocalypse now tonight, but it's so unpredictable. But
We
I
don't
will
know.
say
We don't.
we don't know.
This
We
is
don't
just
know.
one side. We don't know that they're going to agree to it.
Exactly, we don't
And what's
agree to. I
Israel
don't
going to
think
do?
they'll give up Hormuz.
Is Israel going to stop bombing Iran while this is happening? The last time he had to call Bibi and tell him to turn the fucking planes around, right?
Yeah,
So we can
yeah.
stop bombing all day, but it doesn't mean Israel's going to stop. And
Well, that's what I just said.
if Israel's
Yes.
bombing them, they're not going to open the Strait of Hormuz. Period.
No, no, they're not. In fact, that's their whole deck of cards is Hormuz. And that is the thing. They know they're not going to beat us in any kind of military fight, but what they can do is continue to take the world down economically. And that is the real issue. Now, another thing nobody brings up is the CCP. How are they going to weigh in on all this? And that's important because they are a partner of Iran and also Russia. How are they going to weigh in? What are they going to say? And I'm talking about if there's a fireball. So allegedly, the CCP has already said if there's any kind of serious civilizational attack on Iran, that they will step in. How that reads, I don't know. I just read that. I have no verification, but it is something to think about. Thank you, Diligent, for the mic.
Hey, and just real quick, Diligent. Ever since that announcement was made, the market jumped again. Now it's up 1.5% in after hours.
All about the money, honey.
I think so. I think there's a couple parts to it, right? Because I think Trump's still wanting to save the economy, still wanting to save the stock market, while at the same time trying to negotiate the end of this. So it's a delicate thing. So you manipulate the markets to your favor, to our favor, while trying to get your negotiations. It's hard to tell because a lot of us are in the dark. So, but That's just kind of where it is right now. 1.5 up.
Wow.
The amount of insider trading that's going on right now too is really, really gross with this administration.
Real quick, can you guys do us a favor? We have 441 people. We need to get those reposts up if we can. Thank you guys.
Yeah, down bottom right corner comment section. Please support American hosted spaces that are not botted. Let's go. Go ahead, Dan.
Hey, thanks, Diligent. So this kicked off at about 2 o'clock today, and that's my time, Central U.S. time. But it was this Shahbaz Sharif, the PM of Pakistan. He sent a tweet out asking for the 2 week ceasefire, and now they have the Donald Trump agreeing to that. If you look at oil prices now, they're down, almost 10%. So just to take a look at that it looks like the prime minister for Pakistan successfully negotiated that 2 week ceasefire. So that's
But
just
I mean, but
from a
Iran
trail
hasn't.
perspective.
Yeah.
Iran has to agree to it, right? Like Trump put that out 10 minutes ago. He didn't say that they agreed to it. He said it was subject upon their agreeing to it.
Yeah, no, this statement from Shahbaz Sharif, and I'm going to try to capture that and post it.
And I'm getting reports that Israel's still bombing Iran right now. So
Oh, well, okay. Maybe U.S. agreed to it, but Israel didn't. So,
well, I mean, that's what it's going to boil down to.
Yeah.
Is Israel going to stop? Because if Israel doesn't stop, then this is all for nothing. I don't know. If Israel doesn't stop, maybe it'll finally give our leadership some balls to stop co-signing their shit and doing their bidding.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't do it the bunker buster situation last year where they continued and they broke ceasefires twice last year. I just don't see it happening. They didn't learn anything. Instead, we joined
I
forces
mean,
and just went on this
I
war
think
again.
that if they continue to put American people last for Israel, you're going to see a big problem here in the United States.
Oh, for
They're
sure.
going to have a big problem of control because people will get like fed up, right? And now that winter's over and it's warming up, where people will mobilize, you have to be careful, right? Like it's a very volatile situation. I think that we don't need any more strife. The American people are fatigued with the protests and the riots and the fucking war and just completely demoralized. And, people are losing their jobs in droves. Yeah, it's like a mixture. It's like a powder keg, right? Like we're sitting on a powder keg just ready to light up. And there's no care by the establishment or the ruling class about what's happening right now. I mean, it makes sense that all the billionaires are getting bunkers. Go ahead, Raw Castillo.
Yeah, I just want to say, I mean, I'm watching all these, social media, like, YouTube channels and stuff. And almost every guy who comes on these channels, they say that our threat is with China, right? If you really want to counter China, we got to like contain North Korea, help Japan and South Korea, people who actually pay for their weapons. We're taking all those interceptors, we're taking all those ships, we're taking all those aircraft carriers, moving it to the Middle East for Israel, right? Like Kim Jong Un is a rogue actor, right? Way worse than Iran. And you have Kim Jong Un sitting there, and we don't do shit about it. Instead, we go and take all our interceptors from Japan, from South Korea, and they're pissed at us for that they paid for, the radars, and take it to the Middle East. It's not sustainable. This is just, it's just like the stupidest war I've ever seen in my life. This is like the stupidest. Like, I mean, what are we trying to do here? Like, we want to blow up the whole petrodollar, blow up the GCC. That's our petrodollar. Blow all that shit up. For what? I just don't get it. Like, China is in Asia. We're taking assets out of Asia, moving it to the Middle East. Is Iran a bigger threat than China? I don't get it. It's just bonkers. And I voted for Trump 3 times, and I'm kind of sad to say it, but I'm ashamed that I voted for Trump. And I don't give a fuck what happens to Trump anymore. I hope he gets impeached. I hope he gets thrown into fucking annals of history, because I don't think this war is going to help anybody. Nobody wants to pay $5 a gallon gas. Nobody wants to pay 20% inflation at the grocery store. I mean, most people are tapped out, and you have the AI job losses and all that stuff coming down the horizon, and now we are stuck with like amazing high gas prices, stagflation, and we want more money for attacking Iran, for securing the Straits of Hormuz that we don't even use, while we move all our assets from China to the Middle East. This is like the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life. Doesn't make any sense.
Let's try to watch the swearing some on YouTube. Thank you.
Sorry about
All
that.
right, it's all right. Go ahead, Tim Dog, and then we'll go to Katie. Welcome, Katie. Go ahead, Katie.
Okay, first and foremost, thank you for introducing me to Truth Social. I wasn't aware of this platform or app, and I appreciate it very much. So I also think it's quite bizarre. Um, that I'm grateful for it, but I think it's quite bizarre that Trump's like literally just putting out there his every move. But here's one thing that I have to state, and this is what I've been investigating yesterday and now even more so today. I started off here with, why is Trump so annoyed with Keir Starmer, who's the UK's current president? And this is in relation to Iran, so bear with. I was like, why is he so mad at him? Like, it's almost a personal, like, bleh. I can't explain it. And then I was like, oh, Peter Mandelson. That makes sense. So I went and did my deep dive on Grok, by the way, as well as my ChatGPT Steve. And I was like, oh, because Starmer didn't play ball and was a bit of a wimp, is what we call him, um, that makes more
Wait,
sense.
do you want the UK to be bombing in this
No,
war?
no, I don't. I don't want anyone to be bombing anyone. What I'm trying to get at is that this, I just, I'm following the end of my nose right here, really is something leading to potentially, I might not be right, but the Epstein, I'm not being a conspiracy theorist. I'm just getting my facts straight, because then I just went on to Grok now and I said, okay, well, who in Iran was also named in the Epstein files? And it was Iran's former president, or yeah, Mahmoud. Okay, I can't say his name. I apologize. But the former Iranian president was in the Epstein documents as well. And so there has to be, and this is what I find really frustrating, and it's not right, any of it, is there has to be a real reason why somebody will go to such lengths to create such a mess. Do you know what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I'm not saying that I'm right, but I'm definitely not saying I'm wrong.
I mean,
But
this is neocon policy that generates money for the war machine. This is not anything new. Like this
right,
is
right. But they're talking about NATO and this and that and the other. And then with these petrol or gas prices, I mean, gas prices are through the roof. However, what I do find interesting is that the dollar to pound, or GBP, Great British Pound, um, it's now tipped back in our favour. So I always look at the exchange rate to see what's actually going on behind the scenes. I highly recommend everyone do that. It's a really good kind of um, barometer. But also, what I have to say is, I went on BBC Question Time a long time. Gosh, was it like a year ago or whatever? Um, and the Labour government were going on and on and on. This is all before the war, and this is relevant, about how Labour government's all about the UK having its own sources of gas and oil and everything else like this, which then it sparked back up in my mind to be like, did they know about this beforehand? Is this all? It's such a shame that obviously there's zero transparency with all what's going on. But I do look at the Epstein files, and it's interesting that Keir Starmer and the former president of Iran and whomever has been documented in the Epstein files, and they're all up in arms. And I'm like, oh, there's a method to someone's madness here, and I don't think we're being told even half of it. I really do think that
this.
it's old boys, showing whose teeny tiny peashees are bigger than the other. It's terrible. It's the absolute wrong way to go about it. So I don't trust these people in power at all.
Neither do I. Neither do I. I think it's good not to trust them. Um, Iran hasn't agreed to this. Yeah, I know. So just so you know, Trump's offer to give it 2 weeks only works if Iran agrees and immediately opens the Strait of Hormuz. If they don't do that, there is no deal. Right?
Yeah, but come
So
on, man.
so they
Diligent.
haven't. Hold on, Katie. They have not agreed to this. Right? This is a one-sided offer so far, right? With Pakistan and President Trump. And Iran so far has not agreed to it. So I don't think anybody should be celebrating or acting as if this is scripture because we don't know that it is. Go ahead, Katie, and then I'm going to go to Tim Dog and Terry.
All right, I'll land this quickly. I mean, at the end of the day, I think it even weakens Trump's position, to be frank, to say, okay, well, we're going to extend our time. It's like, it's just stupid. You either do it or you don't do it, you know? Like, I do. I just believe that. I'm just like, come on. Allegedly is trying to negotiate all of this other stuff. At the end of the day, yes, America is he's treating it and understandably has been positive in some respects as a business, but these are lives at stake here. This is war at stake here, and there is a huge responsibility for the welfare of all of the people that is just being dealt with, in my personal and professional opinion, really irresponsibly, really irresponsibly. I don't even think that this is a matter. Yes, it's important that we all are understanding of the facts, etc. But I don't think they're giving even half of what we should be knowing about any of it. I just don't trust any of them. And we, the people, whether in America, Iran, UK, wherever you are in the big wide world, should not have to suffer because these Jurassic dinosaurs are just incompetent. It is just terrible. It is awful. So I pray for everybody. Thanks, Diligent.
Thank you, Katie. I am as well. Go ahead, Tim Dog.
Yeah, I just want to say, this is why you don't get involved with this because you're dealing with Israel on, it's not a two-sided deal. It's a three-sided deal. And the third part of that deal is absolutely a terroristic regime in Israel, and they're never going to let this go. There's been people killed in Israel. They're very angry. They're on some type of fanatical whatever they're on, Greater Israel arc or whatever they're doing. But the problem is you can't control them. So you're always going to have this problem. And if you do get to a deal with Iran, what they're going to do is what they always do. They're going to start attacks here, and they're going to say it's them, and they're going to cause us. They're going to cause us to get involved, or it's just everyone's. It's such a mess, and this is exactly why you do not get involved with something with Israel. They've been doing this since JFK. Listen, his tweet today tells everything. It tells all the conspiracy things that you've seen are all true. When a president does that, we're supposed to act professional. Okay, I was born in 1976. Presidents don't act like that. If you're a CEO of a company, a low level company, you're fired for something like that. There's no coming back from that. So we have a president that's completely occupied, compromised, and totally looks horrible right now. And then we have Israel, who's never going to make peace. So if you'll see, everyone's going to say, "Oh, the barrels are down to under $100." This is all going to start up in 2 weeks, and we're going to be on the same thing again, and it's going to be more dumb tweets. But the bottom line is that this is an entanglement that we're stuck in for a long time, and I don't have the answer how to get out of this. So this is not good. The bottom line is there's no off ramp if he takes the off ramp to say Israel, you're crazy. Guess what? Terror is going to start like crazy in the States. Okay, and then you have these MAGA boomers. I don't understand these people. If today didn't change them, nothing's going to change them. So we're in a bad position. I don't really know how we're going to get out of this position, but the bottom line is that He really screwed up. You should have never got involved with something with Israel. They're parasites wearing a skin suit. I'm sick of them. All they do, they're ruining our country. And you know what? They'll take us down. People in this country are more aligned with Israel than they are with this country. And that's the problem because those
That's
people,
that's simply not true.
you don't
There are
think
some
that,
people. There are
yes,
some people.
yes, there are. Where do you think that the IDF and where do you think these false flags? What do you think happened to Charlie? You've been this is what you do your show about. That type of stuff
I mean,
happens
we do
because
evidence based. We do evidence based
right.
research here. We don't.
Okay.
You're throwing a lot of speculation out there,
Okay,
right?
well, I'm not the one that does the videos on it and suggests it. I'm just saying it's kind of obvious. I mean, I'm not the one detailing Erica and how she looks and stuff because it's kind of obvious. And you know what? The point is that I'm sorry for being a little emotional about this, but it's it's something that if it goes too far, our whole change of way that we live changes. So I don't know. Get this guy under control. Whatever the Congress has to do this or whatever, because it's going to end up where we're not in a really good position. Our whole
So
life will change.
someone just showed me, tagged me in something. It says this quote. Oh, this is unbelievable. The edit history on this tweet shows that Pakistan Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif originally copied and pasted everything he was sent, including a draft, quote, Pakistan's PM message on X. Now, obviously, Sharif's own staff don't call him Pakistan's PM. They would just call him Prime Minister. The US and Israel, of course, would call him Pakistan's Prime Minister. Would it be funny if the fate of the world was hanging in the balance? Wow, it is on there. That's crazy. So obviously, Pakistan's prime minister was sent what to post on his account from a
Yeah, like
foreign. What?
yeah, like
Please don't interrupt
coordinating
me.
his PR. Oh,
Please,
sorry.
yeah. So was sent what to post on his account to make it appear as if this negotiation was happening through him. They're just another puppet, it appears. So that's interesting. That's really interesting. It's already got 2 million views. It's less than an hour old. It's everywhere. That's crazy.
Hey, sorry. Hey, sorry, Dill. I was just saying that obviously that was coordinated with the White House. I mean, it's so obvious.
Yeah, it's nuts. Grok, I want you to Grok scan Netanyahu's account or Israel's X account. Look for any indication that Israel has agreed to also adhere to a 2-week ceasefire.
Yeah, scanned Netanyahu's account at Netanyahu. Nothing direct on a ceasefire. His latest posts today are all in Hebrew, one from about 2:30 p.m. Eastern, saying they're continuing to crush Iran's terror regime with a video, and another earlier praising fighters hitting Iran and Hezbollah, wishing happy holiday. No mention of ceasefire, truce, pause, 2 weeks, or suspending ops. Zero from official Israel accounts like at Israel MFA either. Same silence. But here's the buzz. CNN's live feed, just updated, cites a senior White House official saying Israel has agreed to join the 2-week thing, suspending bombing on Iran while talks roll. Multiple accounts on X are echoing it. Israel will halt strikes, part of the ceasefire. Even Iranian TV claiming Trump accepted their conditions and Israel's in. Views are exploding, some posts at thousands already. Catch? No Israeli confirmation. Netanyahu's not tweeting about it. No IDF statement, and reports note strikes are still happening, like US-Israel hits on Tehran's synagogue. They call it collateral. Karg Island, petrochemical plants. If Israel's truly pausing, it ain't obvious yet. Feels like White House spin to sell the trilateral angle, but on the ground, bombs keep falling. Deadlines passed, truce floated, but until Tehran opens Hormuz or Israel goes quiet, it's all noise, wild.
The deadline's not passed. We have 57 minutes. Go ahead, Noah, and then we'll go to Katie.
Thank you, Diligent and Destiny, for hosting a space about this. Yeah, no, this ceasefire is total fake news. The way I see it is if I'm a regime and I want to keep control of my country, and I know I've got hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe tens of thousands, maybe even millions of people right now that are out on the street, out in front of power plants, on bridges, in front of schools, like they're actually out in the public. And then I go around and tell my people that, hey, I just agreed with another 2-week ceasefire with the country that's betrayed me. And by the way, Israel's still dropping bombs on us. That would turn my
And
country against me.
Iran, let me add this too. Mere seconds after U.S. President Donald Trump announced that he calls a two-sided ceasefire with Iran, ballistic missile launches against Israel by Iran have been detected. Air defenses are working to mitigate the threat. So they're still launching, but they haven't agreed to a ceasefire. So, but there's still missiles flying. So
That
go ahead.
would
Sorry, Noah.
probably happen. No, it's all good. That would probably happen no matter what until things are formalized. But you know what? I'm pray that I'm wrong. I pray for peace. If the strait is still closed tomorrow morning, you'll know that what I said was true. If it's open tomorrow morning, I'll gladly be a horse's ass and take the L. But Israel is a country that will sacrifice itself to expand its borders, and Iran is a country that will do anything to defend themselves right now. So there is no ceasefire. It's total horseshit. Thanks, guys.
I'm with you 100%.
Do you think this is another rug pull, Noah?
Yes.
I mean, well, it's beyond market manipulation by now, because how many times can you cry wolf or lie or whatever and the markets react? Well, we know the markets are rigged. Okay, the markets are rigged, but you can only rig them for so long. I mean, and another thing too is he's gradually getting people more and more complacent to do something horrific to Iran. Now, personally, I don't think it'd be nuclear, because it'd be physically the nuclear fallout that would cause damage to other surrounding countries and wind currents and stuff, that it wouldn't happen. But I wouldn't pass the United States at this point to drop lots of Moabs, and because we've already kidnapped the president of another country and nothing happened. It's like, if you're gambling and you're on a hot streak, you keep going. Nobody's stopping you up to this point, right? So no, I wouldn't put it past this country to bomb another place to oblivion. I mean, whether or not you're into Gaza, you've seen what happened with Gaza and nothing has happened, right? There's been no major repercussions yet. So, I mean, just read the tea leaves.
Logic. If you have your hand up, no one's speaking. Jump in. Katie, Logic, whoever.
Hey, well, I think that the market manipulation is part of the strategy, right? So just like the Iranian regime uses the closure of the strait to put pressure on us. I think this is Trump's way to kind of like counter that. I think it's part of the strategy, even though that we don't like it because it's manipulating the markets. But the Iranian regime's doing the same thing. So I think there's strategy here as well.
Okay, what I'm about to ask is a little bit controversial, but again, there's a method to the madness and a madness to the method. If we were to just strip everything back, right? Okay, what I'm about to ask is a little bit controversial, but again, there's a method to the madness and a madness to the method. If we were to just strip everything back, right, and we were to explain just very simply of what one know what's happening, we all know what's happening, but I think sometimes it's good just to strip everything back to its core roots of issues. And we're able to then find potentially a better understanding. Because I get that people are passionate, absolutely. Everyone has a right to be passionate and think and feel the way that they do. But at the end of the day, we have multiple countries now going against one another. And so I just wanted to ask if there was anybody that would be willing to just simplify and explain this is what's
Does
happening.
anybody else feel like this is 2 weeks to stop the spread? I feel
What
like
do you
that's what
mean?
this is.
Oh my
Like
God, did you just stop me?
this has. I'm sorry, but the thought just intruded upon me. I can't help but think it. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. 2 weeks to stop the spread. Does anybody else get those vibes right now? This
Spread
is.
of what?
Yeah, it does. Same vibes.
100%. That's all this is about.
Spread of what?
You don't remember COVID, Katie?
Oh, yeah, no.
2 weeks to
Do I
stop the
remember?
spread. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks. We've been hearing that since we launched on Iran the first time.
Yeah, I think from a high level, like to what Katie's trying to get after, I think from a high level, I think Trump's kind of game plan going into this has been kind of the same. He wants to control trade and he wants to control resources. One of the first things that he did was take back control of the Panama Canal, and he also took control of one of the fourth largest oil reserves. Not control, but at least took Maduro out of Venezuela. And then as soon as that was done, under the guise of a drug war, which is fine. He can sell it any way he wants. And then he pivoted over to another top four reserve as well. And Greenland's kind of all part of that strategy too, because the northern part is starting to turn into a trade route with the type of weather that we get up in the north. So I think it all kind of ties together with trade and resource control, and I think that's how he sees himself winning.
But how is he winning when now every ship that passes through has to pay a toll of $2 million when previously it didn't? I think that,
Because he,
True.
to answer your question, because I think it's like he sees it like the same way he buys a building, right? So he buys a building and he has to spend $10 million to buy the building, but after the building's sold, it's worth 100 million. So it's an ROI that he's calculated to himself. What's
but
the risk?
are
What's the
you
reward?
assuming that he's going to be controlling it or something?
No, the plan is for Israel to
Well,
be the king of that region
well,
and
well,
control it.
well no, it's more
To
like
the shit out of
stop
them,
them.
though.
Why not? But we like to use that. But Carter went and lifted those for the Americans and all that stuff, and they still didn't come into the trade organization with us. So they were still subverting the or the global markets. So I'm not so sure if I kind of buy that line, but I mean it's relevant.
Dill, you there?
Yeah, bro.
Hey, so I got some questions here. One, do you have an orange dashboard in your car? Really? I'm kidding, And the accent
That
of
is
Kate.
a friend. That is a friend.
Okay, I'm just
That is
messing.
a very savvy. Well, it's a story for another day.
I'll take your word for it. And then the KV accent is just awesome. All right, enough fooling around, but here's my take on this is all the peace discussions are just completely nonsense. And when I have clients and I say to them, we should make an offer to the other side, and they go, why? And I go, because we want to appear to be reasonable. And I said, and the emphasis is on the word appear. Okay. Now, Trump is so far beyond that. I mean, no one's going to ever see him as reasonable, but someone has told him that if he wants to not appear completely insane, he needs to do this. So that's my view of this. It's a gambit. It's not real. He's got the New York Times out there saying Trump, agrees to see.
Are you looking at the markets, Terry?
No, I bet they're going up wildly.
Yeah, they've been shooting up.
Yeah. And so all his buddies are, inside trading on all this. I think everybody who's got a brain knows it. But I think that the reason why we are there is I agree with the speaker who talked about resources. I mean, Trump understands, deals and resources and control. Agree with the speaker who talked about resources. I mean, Trump understands article in the Times today by Maggie Haberman, who seems to have incredible contacts in the White House. And what she said is 2 weeks before all this, that Netanyahu and a team from Israel came over.
Mossad.
And yeah, I recommend everybody read it. And Bibi gave this 1 hour presentation to the president about why he should do this. And to sum it up, I think, and be interested in your thoughts, it was because it's going to be easy. No problem. Take a couple of weeks. And a lot of people in the administration did not believe it. And I can't believe I'm about to say something good about J.D. Vance, but apparently he was the only person in the room who actually spoke up and said, no, this is a bad idea.
You don't think that's optics just to try to get because he's not extremely popular with the base. It's been pretty astroturfed.
Yeah,
So I'm wondering if this isn't good cop, bad cop strategy to, shadow campaign
very
Vance to replace
possible.
Trump.
Very, very possible is, but I think JD going to do what's good for JD. Is there any question about that? So he's triangulating and saying, how much can I say or do that will not, completely alienate Trump, but keep some of my bona fides with the base. But again, whether it's real or pretend, who knows? But the one thing, and I this has really become my main idea here, is when we get this figured out, and eventually it'll get figured out, I hope, we have to have a day of reckoning, or, it's going to be more than a day, with the Israeli government. We cannot have Netanyahu doing what he did and saying what he says and leading the president of the United States around. We just can't have it. And again, just goes without saying, I've been a big supporter of Israel and the Jews, blah, blah. But I'm sorry, no more. So I'm going to land there.
Can I ask you a question, Terry? Are you a lawyer?
Yes.
Yes, takes one to know one. I studied law, and I just wanted to ask if you're well, you don't have to disclose anything, but just what's your legal take
I
on
use
this?
my name. You
No,
can Google
I
me. Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, look,
Go ahead.
what so I studied law here in the UK. I'm studying for the New York State Bar.
Okay.
And I am just curious to understand what your kind of like legal take or lawyer's perspective on all of this is.
I know nothing about international law. Okay. But at the same time, I listen to people and they've said over and over again, this is not a war of necessity. We acted to try. The only rationale is it was a preventative war, and those are not favored in international law unless there's an imminent threat. And that's why Trump was so upset with Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent and those folks, because they wouldn't say, oh, there was an imminent threat of a nuclear, detonation. They wouldn't say those things. And that was the only cover he had for any kind of, as I understand it, legal basis for this. So again, this is not my lane, international law or the law of war, and that's what it is. But I think we started it. No one
No,
attacked us.
I appreciate you answering. It's only because when you mentioned about being reasonable, um, I knew right away, and I agree with you. I really do. I think that a show of being reasonable, it doesn't necessarily mean that one is going to be.
No,
So, I was just like, I spot a lawyer when I see one.
this
But
is
yeah,
this is
thanks,
just
Terry.
window dressing for Trump, and I pray for all the people of Iran, all our service people. I mean, it just, and again, my big message here is I think the American public has got to push their representatives in Congress and the Senate to stop laying down and doing whatever the Israeli government wants. It has to stop, and there has to be, a day of reckoning with these folks, because It's not right. So anyway, but it's nice to talk to you.
Go ahead, Ms. Lou.
I don't see in the short term the congressional body having any kind of day of reckoning with Israel. Okay, there's too much power and money. And when we were talking about voting earlier, the real problem is the unelected, not those who we elect. They get up there into the den of corruption and they're told how it's going to be, and they like that money, and they like insider trading, and they like waste, fraud, abuse. Remember, those three things haven't gone away. But the real issue, the real power is in the unelected, people whose names we don't even know, people in the intelligence state, people in the military apparatus state. These are the people who are really controlling this country and working with outside forces such as Israel. So, where are we? We can't give up. Fight, 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 but fight what? We'll just have to see how it goes, but never take a knee, never give up, never lie down. And thank you, Diligent, as always, for the mic. Hi, Maze. Hey, Destiny.
They just
Hey.
said that not to interrupt, but they just said that Iran said it's possible for them to have safe passage through the Hormuz Strait via Walter Bloomberg.
Possible.
Possible, yes.
Well, we got
So
39
anything is
minutes.
possible.
Yeah.
They already
Um,
put a 2-week ceasefire in.
no, 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 they did not. No, they did
Yeah,
not.
they.
Trump said, no, they did not. Trump said, subject to them opening the Strait of Hormuz.
But Iran
Subject
agreed.
to. Where did you see
No,
that?
they didn't. No, they did not.
They have not
They
agreed. That is
just.
not.
Okay. This was like 5 minutes ago. I saw it. I thought you guys talked about it.
Well,
Let
there's
me
going to be
go.
a
Let me
lot
go.
of flack,
So
a lot
first,
of
They just
noise.
said
Israel agreed to
possible. They
it,
just
and
said
then
possible.
I'm sorry. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, I'm gonna
No,
go
no,
check. I'm gonna go. I'm
they,
gonna go
they
check my
said
facts. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
no problem. They said
You
possible,
should
like
definitely
really
check them before
possible.
we announce it to the live space,
But
because
it came from a source that has been on point. So, but I will go
Well,
and make sure that it comes directly from Iran. I'll see.
Bloomberg
Israel
is
has to agree to it. Israel
So
also.
Israel
has
did
to.
agree to it. Well, that's according to
I didn't
CNN.
see any. Yeah, CNN said that,
yeah.
but I haven't
Yeah,
seen. Israel
CNN.
hasn't
So
publicly. Be quiet, everybody. Stop talking over the host and the co-host. Thank you. Grok, look up for any confirmation that Iran has agreed to the ceasefire or that Israel has agreed to the ceasefire, other than chatter. I want primary source. It's like clocked out. Grok's down. I don't know. Grok's down. I don't know. Problems earlier. Go ahead, Katie.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask. Oh, is she on?
She's on. Grok, I want you to look up and try to confirm whether or not Israel and Iran have agreed to Trump's ceasefire. I want primary source, no chatter.
No, neither Israel nor Iran has officially agreed to Trump's ceasefire proposal based on primary sources. Trump's own Truth Social post from today, April 7th, 2026, lays it out verbatim. He says he's suspending US strikes for 2 weeks, subject to Iran opening the Strait of Hormuz immediately. He calls it a double-sided ceasefire, mentions Iran's 10-point proposal as workable, but makes zero claim that Iran or Israel has signed off. It's conditional on their side. No mention of Israel agreeing at all. Iran? Official channels, like state media via IRNA or their National Security Council, haven't confirmed acceptance. Latest from Tehran, they rejected temporary pauses outright, want permanent end, sanctions gone, no more attacks, including from Israel, and control over Hormuz. They floated their own 10-point counter, but no nod to Trump's terms. Israel? Netanyahu's feed and gov.il site? Silent. No statement, no post on truce or pause. Strikes continue per live reports. White House spin says Israel's in, but that's secondary. No Israeli primary confirmation. Bottom line, Trump's floating it as his move, but it's not mutual. No deal locked. Still brinkmanship. If Hormuz opens by morning, maybe. Otherwise, back to square one.
Grok, how much time do we have left on the ceasefire deal? Or on the deadline?
Right now, April 7th, 2026, 7:24 p.m. Eastern. We've got 36 minutes left until Trump's original 8 p.m. deadline. That's the clock he set for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz or face massive strikes. But he just dropped that Truth Social post less than 2 hours ago, saying he's suspending US attacks for 2 weeks, conditional on Iran agreeing to complete, immediate, and safe opening of Hormuz right away. He calls it a double-sided ceasefire, mentions Pakistan's push worked, and says Iran's 10-point plan's workable for talks starting Friday in Islamabad. White House says Israel agreed too, suspending their
Grok,
bombs.
there's a
But
lot of
Iran?
Grok, there's a lot of accounts reporting that Iran has accepted the 10-point peace plan. See if that's accurate.
Yeah, no, Iran hasn't accepted Trump's 10-point peace plan because there isn't one from the US side. What you're seeing on X, mostly spin, hype, and one-sided.
Not what I asked. All right, it's frustrating.
No, they have come out with a statement.
Iran has come out with a statement themselves because I'm seeing a lot
Yes,
of.
yes, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He said, in response to the brotherly request of Prime Minister Sharif in his tweet, and considering the request by the United States for negotiations based on its 15-point proposal, as well as announcement by POTUS about acceptance of the general framework of Iran's 10-point proposal as a basis for negotiations. I hereby declare on behalf of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, if attacks against Iran are halted, our powerful armed forces will cease their defensive operations. For a period of 2 weeks, safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces and will with due consideration of technical limitations.
Fact check true. Thank you.
Well, that's good news, right? Is Israel going to stop bombing them?
That's what we need to confirm. That's what we need to confirm.
The
They,
They're
they
U.S.
said
has
it
usually
was.
stopped. The
It
U.S.
was.
has stopped all military operations on Iran.
So Nick Shorter just reported this with a guy in Israel. Can you guys hear this? Hold on. So he says the Israeli government is not happy with the terms of President Trump's 2-week ceasefire with Iran, per Fox News. So Israel is not happy about the ceasefire, apparently, which means that I find it highly unlikely they'll adhere to it. Like highly unlikely. This is all
Then we
contingent.
should get out. Then we should get out and let
This is
Israel
this
continue the
is this
war.
is all contingent on Israel stopping bombing Iran. It is. If they don't stop, none of this is going to stop.
Or we can make a deal with Iran and let the chips fall where they may. Let them take out Israel and be done
That'll
with it.
never happen. That'll never happen. Trump's not going to make a deal with Iran.
I know.
Merry Christmas, Diligent. Expect a massive, damaging Epstein drop very soon.
You know, I called it last summer. If you have your hand up, just go, please.
Wait,
Yeah,
what did he say?
about Epstein, a big Epstein drop. So I also had been researching about what on earth has been going on. And it's interesting that all of these countries or, people therein have also been named in the Epstein documents, etc. So maybe there'll be more files about this. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure, but I smell a rat and I'm trying to smoke it out.
Go ahead, Miss Lou.
If Israel continues to attack Iran, this is our out, and we should take it, in my opinion. I don't have all the intel, obviously. But I think Trump should say, okay, we've tried to, they've agreed to us discussing their peace point. If you continue bombing them, we're pulling out and you're on your own. You are
But it's
on
all
your own.
theater, Miss Lou. Like I think that United
Well,
States
that's a
and
threat we
Israel
could
in
make to
cahoots.
Israel. But see, that's a threat we should make to Israel. That if you want to continue bombing while we're trying to do this the right way and get Hormuz open and have peace in that region, if you want to continue bombing, BB, then you go ahead and we will not support you on that.
Miss Lou or anyone, what do you and pardon for the silly question, but what is Israel getting out of this?
Their existential enemy is Iran.
Is
They
Iran.
hate each
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I understand that they
Es-
may
no,
be
essentially.
That's not. I would push
Essentially.
back on
enemies.
that. It's not so much that it's their existential enemy. It's that Israel cannot achieve the regional hegemony of the Greater Israel Plan with Iran there. So they're in the way of Israel pursuing to become a regional hegemony. That's the main
What is the
issue.
hegemony?
Well, are you familiar with the whole Greater Israel objective?
And
Uh,
it's rulership. It's them having influence and control over the region.
to be very
Hegemony.
Exactly. They want
transparent,
to be the regional superpower of the area. And with Iran there, along with their proxies in Lebanon and elsewhere, they can't achieve it.
so there is okay. So just again, simplifying this, just so I really truly understand. Apologies for my ADHD,
They
etc.
want to control the entire region, the Middle East. They want to be the
They want a
king of the
central
Middle East.
bank in every country, and they want influence on the petrodollar. Period. End of story. No
Oh,
nationalism, no ownership of
why?
your own resources.
So okay, so okay, so Israel is trying to take over ownership of the
That is not proven.
right. No,
Oh,
no, no, no. I
bullshit,
mean,
diligent. Come on
It's
now.
not proven.
it
They
isn't
say it
Uh,
proven.
themselves.
Hey, but just to
two
No,
push back,
aspects of it.
just to push back a
I'm
little
just
bit.
being
Who
being
what?
objective, okay? I'm not saying that there isn't a greater Israel project because obviously
I'm not aware of it.
there are people within the Likud party who have proposed it. Benjamin Netanyahu has alluded to it many times, but it is not a current policy that they are putting out there as to what they're doing. I'm not saying that's not why. Like I'm not saying that that's not the reason why they're doing what they're doing, right? I'm just saying like I'm presenting it as fact. There's no
Diligent, if they were pursuing that, do you think it would be wise to do it publicly that we're going to take over all these countries and then just come out with it bluntly? I mean,
Well,
everything
publicly
Israel
they
has.
call it.
They did with Project 2025 and Trump's carrying a lot he denied it when he was asked, but half of the policy we see
Yeah, but
was
that's
on that
like
agenda.
saying that's almost like a declaration of war on these countries. So obviously they're not going to necessarily come out blatantly say it. But there's two elements of it to this. One is land control from the Euphrates all the way to the Nile. That's like the whole Greater Israel plan. But then there's also becoming a regional superpower. You can actually have a lot of control over the entire area without having the land control occupying the land. So there is definitely the objective of having being a regional superpower, and they've made no ifs and buts about it. There's the IMAC corridor that they're proceeding, and that those national interests for Israel is important for them to have control of the region. So it's not just about the land. It's actually having regional hegemony without necessarily having the land as well. Just wanted to put that
Um,
in perspective.
Well, these
Well,
are
I just wanted to posit a question real quick. It's like what major country over in the Middle East doesn't want to have the regional power? Like besides Israel, like don't you guys think that the majority of the countries that are even well established, they all want the regional power? Isn't that the point?
I
Yeah,
don't see
but not all
Oman
of them have the
What
influence in
governing the
American
region.
politics to back them.
what evidence do you have that all of these other countries are acting as expansionists? The only ones that are bombing their neighbors are Lebanon and Israel,
Well, I don't
right?
know. I mean, I've heard this saying called "river to the sea." I don't know if that qualifies for your.
That's for their
But
Okay,
own
for your
land.
that's
That's
question,
for their own
inside of
right?
the
area.
Israel
That was
charter.
actually
I
the
know. So,
Likud party, by the way.
I can't
But
hear all of you at once.
but what I'm saying is like
Let Maze respond to
that.
you.
Yeah, that's inside of the Israel charter that was written really by the Likud party. Now, it does have a little bit of a ring to it with Palestine should be free from the river to the sea, but it was originally where it came from was the Likud charter. So if you look in there, that was a game plan for Israel. Also, if you begin looking into the new Middle East, what you'll see is that it is referred to that way in a lot of public commentary, and it is referring to the same thing. Netanyahu held up a map at the G20 September of not last year, but the year before, and when he referred to the new Middle East, which is what it said on the map, it had the greater Israel highlighted. And then you can hear Trump saying it. He says it many times. I mean, they've been saying it for quite some time now. So I think that they're kind of, it's interchangeable with the language.
I guess I get that, but if we're just thinking like logically, if you went to the heads of state of all the countries in the region, are you seriously suggesting that if you went up to them and asked them the question, do you want to be a regional power in here? They would say no. Like, you think that that's a logical response that they would give?
Well, I think the difference is that, despite, I don't think that they have expansionist ambition. I do not believe that. But I do think that obviously they want to have security guarantees, and that comes with power. And so, who wouldn't want enough power to be able to secure their country and to guarantee that they're not vulnerable for attacks and for invasion, right? And
Right. So
so,
so why wouldn't Israel want to have that same thing? Right. So
well,
like maybe they see as expansionism
Israel is
as being
expanding.
I know maybe they see that
But their neighbors
expansionism is what
aren't
gives them that protection.
their neighbors aren't expanding, right? That's the point.
They're causing the conflict with the expansion logic. That's logical, right?
Okay. Well, I'm not so sure because their neighbors are saying river to the sea, and they've got an Iranian regime that's literally in their
Did you
charter.
ignore
Once,
the
but listen
may
though,
I
but listen
may I
though,
respond?
Are we really going to get stuck on this?
they have an Iranian.
So logic, I need you because you're on your Android and it's overly powerful. I need you to like hold it away from your face a little bit, but I do want to mix it up. Let's go to these hands and then I'll Dr. Strange, go ahead. You can respond. Then we'll go to Miss America, Noah, and Uncle.
Thanks, Illigent. Look, yeah, everybody wants to grow and become a superpower. Yeah, I agree with that, right? A lot of countries wants to do that. But then there are those who actually sit there and evaluate saying, if I do this, this can actually backfire and cause havoc and it'll incur lots of problems around me. But the only country in the past 70 years that has been expanding, pursuing an expansionist objective, has been Israel. They've gone into Lebanon, they've gone into Syria, and they've actually taken territory. They've taken territory from Gaza, West Bank, Egypt, Jordan, and it's not stopping. It's like they're continuously moving on. And then to make matters worse is that they're also using the US like a bitch to do their work. The intel that we got for Iraq for weapons of mass destruction came from Israel, right? They were the ones who fed us that weapons of mass destruction lie. And now they've gotten us into this other war with Iran, which can be a disaster if this continues. So there there's a huge distinction to make between countries aspiring to become a regional economic power per se. A lot of these other countries are pursuing to become an economic power, not necessarily a and does not have a militaristic objective to go take over land like Israel. Some do, but majority have not in that region. So that's the distinction that needs to be made, that in this context. I'll land it there.
I have a
I
question for
well,
you, very quick.
I just wanted to follow up on that real quick, if I could.
Yeah, but can I just ask a
I
quick question?
Yeah,
I just wanted to flag up, and I just sent you a DM, Logic, because I think you're awesome.
thank
I
you.
just wanted to ask, you're welcome, if the person that was just speaking, have you flagged this up to your governor or your state representative or your mayor? Like, what are you doing ground level to be flagging this up with your serious concerns?
Thank you, Katie,
Can
for
I
that
can
beautiful
I can I
question.
answer can I answer
Katie,
that question
Well,
as
okay,
well?
well,
no,
she's asking Doctor Strange, and then Merrick, you can go right after him. Go ahead, Doctor Strange. You can respond.
thanks. Katie, unfortunately, our government and our politicians, I've said this before, I would call them political prostitutes because big money buys them and sells them, but that would be a dishonor to the profession of prostitution. They're not beholden to the American public. They're beholden to big money. And unless and until that changes, we're in this shit over and over and over. And that's why my focus is not so much to go and basically, you know, knock on doors on these politicians to try to get them to do the right thing. My objective is how do we get big money out of politics so this way the donor class does not own these politicians like cheap prostitutes. That's unless you change that model, nothing will change because the elections are super expensive. Now we're talking presidential elections are billions, congressional elections range up to 20, 50 million dollars. And if you don't have money, you're not going to go anywhere. So that's really I'll end it there. I hope you understand where I'm getting at.
Yeah, no, look, I understand, but there's nothing stopping you from standing and making that change. I mean, the voice, you know, it takes.
Katie, worry about your own country.
Oh,
She's an
okay.
American citizen, Amira.
Thank you very much, Diligent. I know I've got an accent, but that is very true. I think it is important that if we are truly passionate about making change, then we stand up and step into the shoes and to make that change. But anyway, thanks.
Do you live in America, Katie?
You
I
know
have
what?
dual, I have dual
Stop attacking
citizenship,
her. That's
Okay,
and
but
I
you seem to be very concerned, but you don't even seem to understand, know what's going on. You're
I
asking
do know
everybody
what's
in this
going on.
space to explain it to you like a 5-year-old child on
It's
Okay.
okay.
everything
We
that's
don't. We
going
don't.
on.
Hold,
No, no, no. It's okay. It's
It's okay. It's
okay.
okay. Hold on. Hold on. A lot of people don't understand what's going on. Most people don't have the bandwidth or the attention span to pay attention to geopolitics and politics like we do, right? X is its own little ecosystem in that regard. Most of the information is concentrated here and then flows out to the rest of the media. Right? It starts here at a small scale and then blows up as it goes outward. So normies do not often understand all of the nuance, politics, the reasoning, and the leverage and all of that, right? So it's
Okay, that's
important.
fair,
Even
Diligent, but then to
it's
turn
important.
around,
Hold on. It's important, right? Even though you may know what's going on, or other people on stage may know what's going on. There's people listening right now. There's people over on YouTube, right? There's people down there in the listener section that haven't heard everything. So it's important for them to get a full scope. You can respond, and then we'll go to Maze.
yeah,
Thank you. Yeah,
no, I'm
Amira.
responding. Hold on. I get what you're
Okay.
saying and I completely respect that and understand it. But for her to turn around and ask him, what are you doing to fix it? What, that was kind of condescending, I thought, for someone who doesn't know what's going on.
Oh, okay. Amira, hi. And it's nice to meet you. No, I do know what's going on. I just wanted to reset in a way that we could all kind of understand from ground level up, so we could all kind of chime in because there, like Diligent said, there are people that have different levels of understanding. So yeah, look, I'm not here to gloat about my knowledge and X, Y, and Z. I think that the communication and conversations are very, very important. Your voice is just as important as everybody else's. But I just wanted us all kind of singing off of the same hymn sheet. So thank you. Yeah, and I didn't mean to sound condescending at all. If I came across in that way, it wasn't intended to be that way. So thank you for flagging that up.
Dr. Strange, you
Katie,
can
if I
follow up
may,
real quick, and then we'll go to Maze.
really quick, Katie. Look, numerous polls were taken, and poll after poll showed that the majority of Americans did not want military intervention in Iran. Quinnipiac said 7 out of 10 people, 7 out of 10 did not want military intervention. YouGov poll showed up to 85% of American people were against this war. The issue is, and there's poll after poll, like even when the Gaza genocide was happening, the majority of American people, when poll was taken, they wanted a ceasefire. This was during Biden, but nothing happened. The point I'm trying to make is that the politicians are not serving the will of the American people, whether it's the Epstein cases, whether it's the Charlie Kirk murder, assassination. A lot of shit happens that where the government's completely on one side and the American people are not, the other. So even if I go in knocking, it doesn't really do anything. I have drafted a bill for changing campaign finance reform, and I'm pushing that because I think if we're ever going to have any chance of fixing our government, it needs to start by removing big
It's the
money.
same as making stock trading illegal for members of Congress. It's just you have to get them to the system is set up to fight up against it. Like you're like, you can no longer be corrupt. They're not all going to jump on that bandwagon. It's an incredibly uphill battle, and I don't really want to have the whole debate on it right now. Go ahead, Mace.
I
Can
was just gonna say
I
that
interrupt you?
I think that
My co-host had her hand up, and then we'll go to you,
sorry.
Miss America.
I think that Katie's questions are very useful. A lot of people don't have access to the stage and they can't ask. And a lot of people are kind of now waking up because it's these types of events that catalyze the curiosity, And so, even if it does
That's
seem
another one of Maze's favorite words. If you haven't noticed, catalyze. That's one of her. I always point them
stop
out.
it.
She loves to say these words.
Yeah, so I think that being able to explain it and having a well-rounded stage it's helpful and useful for the larger group. That's all I want to say.
You want to take over
So
for a minute, Mace?
Sure.
You sound really like, did you just like smoke a big blunt or something? Why are you so
No,
chill?
I
Seems like you'd
meditated
be
for
all
an
worked
hour and
up
a
right
half
now.
today. Listen, I meditated for an hour and a half today. I had to get through all of the crazy tension and kind of get back to my original Zen mode. You could tell?
Yeah, usually you're
Um,
really wound up, like with all of this. It seems like you'd be really fired up. But like Amira, she's like, I
No, I
figured
feel listen, I was in that same energy for the past couple of weeks. Extremely just my nervous system was going crazy. And I think that a lot of times we get so caught up in these loops of reactive I don't know, it's like this reactive circle, like cycle. And we forget about not necessarily being just the receptors of the broadcast, but we could be the broadcast too. And so the calm, the energy, I hope that
I
like
focused
that
on like
ripples.
I focused on like building. I focused on like building some shit the last few days, and pretty much all day, all night, except for when I was like distracting myself with spaces a little bit. I had to take a break because the chaos of like what's going on in the world, and then like just the chaos that I see happening on X, people that I know and shit like that. It's like I had to have some kind of like parallel thing that was progressing in a positive way at the same time. And I have to say, it felt pretty good to see like to have something that existed outside of the fucking nasty ass news feed and the drama on the platform that I could look at and be like, oh, well, this is good. Wow, okay, this is building up. This is improving, right? Like it's nice to see some improvement because everywhere we look right now, there is a serious lack of leadership and a serious lack of improvement for not just the American people but the world. And it's incredibly easy to get lost in that funk, right? In that like depressive state with constant bad news. We live again, we're in the heart of the news ecosystem and it's not good. Right? So that weighs on your soul. So I had to do some like I think I went to a meeting the other day and some meditation and some prayers and then vibe coded for like 48 fucking hours straight with some not Red Bulls, Celsius, right? Not drinking any sugar. Go ahead, Destiny.
That's awesome, Diligent. Just like I was saying earlier about the like, there are tactics and techniques to get us out of this cognitive warfare manifestation around us. That's one of the answers right there. is exploiting anything that you have any sort of control over, and diving headfirst into that. And so like building apps or whatever to have a sense of control that is away from the chaos. That's 100% one of the best ways to keep your mind resilient in this atmosphere. And I did the same thing last night and the night before too. I've been building apps and building apps because they're useful. You know, it helps with the research that you're doing, and also it's something you can control. And it really, it relaxes the vagus nerve, relaxes the anxiety. That's one of the things I'm talking about. Like, there are things we can do that like help season the mind for this fucking environment that we're stuck in. So kudos.
Go ahead, Miss America. Thank you, Destiny.
Yeah, so what I was trying to say was, I agree with Dr. Strange. We need to get rid of a lot of the lobbying that happens in Congress and all of our political leaders, governors, senators, mayors, whoever it is, because they are beholden to whoever is paying for, their campaigns, that are paying for for everything. And no greater lobbying has been done than the state of Israel with APAC. And I was just having a discussion with someone in which we realized that a lot of these senators, representatives, both Democrat and Republicans, are taking money, huge amounts of money from APAC. So whatever Israel wants, Israel is going to get from us because they have control over all of our the majority of our elected officials. And those who don't take the money from APAC, who don't go to Israel for the quote unquote educational trip, they get primaried out the next election cycle season. So with this war, with this operation, the if Americans are smart, they will talk to their elected officials and tell Trump that this is the perfect opportunity to get out of the Middle East forever and let the
That's
Middle
not
East.
happening. That's not happening.
I
They're
am
investing.
I understand that, but I if it were me, I would have used this opportunity to utilize this quote unquote ceasefire to let Israel fall where they will, because Israel is not going to stop. Bibi already told, has said plenty of times that the war doesn't stop until he says that this operation stops. So have they have us by our balls right now. So I don't understand why we are not saying it's either we lose big or we lose a little bit. And I rather, I'm sorry to say this, but I rather just say, hey, you know what? It was cool while it lasted, but this partnership, this toxic relationship that America and Israel have together, it's come to an end. It has to come to an end immediately, or else America will never be America first. It will never be America first because we will always be beholden to what Israel wants. So if we don't nip that in the bud, we got to take care of ourselves. We got to be a single lady right now and take care of ourselves. We cannot be attached to Israel, or else that is it. That is it for America. That is it for everything that we
Okay,
are trying to do.
I agree. I agree. Thank you. There's some kind of static going on with your headset or whatever you're using.
I'm
Hey,
sorry.
it's okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's go to Sally. Pray for Sally, everybody. She broke her leg earlier. I don't know how that happened.
Wait,
We
what
have
the fuck?
well,
Well, just
easy
my
on the f
foot.
bombs. We're on YouTube,
Oh,
Destiny.
sorry, Diligent.
What,
It's
Sally?
just that I broke the fifth metacarpal on my foot clean through, so it's all the way through with a possible spiral. So I may may have to have surgery. We'll find out. We're praying we don't have to have surgery. So everyone pray that I don't have to have surgery and that it's gonna be in the right spot tomorrow morning. So it's broke clean through. I was walking down my back steps. My guy put like this pad on there that made it 3 inches taller. So when I was going down the back, I had taken my shoes off from mowing the lawn and I misjudged the step and I just heard this. It's like almost like a ballerina fracture, if you guys know what that is. And I heard this loud crack, like someone hit a hammer. I'm like, yep, my foot's broken. So I just called the orthopedic surgeon, bypassed the clinic. They got me in. The doctor was in surgery. So go ahead.
Thank you, Sally. Appreciate you. All right, let's go to Paul, and then I want to hear from George. What's up, George? Go ahead, Paul, real quick, and then we'll go to George.
Hey, what's up, Diligent? How is everybody? I just want to check in, man. I'm back from Lent, and I saw you guys were talking about this, and I was just wondering, has anyone ever read to you the Catholic doctrine for just war?
No.
If you don't mind, it won't take long, but since it's the topic of the day, or I can save it for another time if you prefer.
How long is it?
It's four main points here.
So like 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute?
3 minutes.
Let's let George go, and then I'll let you do it afterwards.
Okay.
Hey, Diligent, how are you? So I just jumped in, so I don't know where we were, but I'm going to go off of your title. Um, Thoughts on? I want to see what your thoughts are, and you might have repeated it. So sorry to the room and to all the listeners here. At the sound of being redundant, this Iran story is just so wild to me. I'm at a loss this evening. Not that I wanted to see kaboom on infrastructure, right? Like we don't want to see that. That's actually not a good look. Love my president, support him. Disagree with certain um, verbiage, wording, vernacular. I don't know which where you want to call it, but I'm
Rhetoric.
I'm confused. I'm confused in the sense of we know that the regime, the IRGC, the mullahs, they're not going to open the strait unless I'm missing something here. So I want to know what the end goal is here.
Apparently,
And
they've already agreed to for 2 weeks
for 2 weeks, they've agreed to. So
while
and
they
then
work
what?
on negotiations.
Okay, and then what? That's my question, right? And then what? Because and I'm going to default this to
It sounds
Mays.
like you're like this is like a defeatist mentality, right? Like why?
It's not a defeatist mentality.
I mean,
Oh, no, no,
isn't
no.
it concession? Isn't
No,
a concession temporary now? Doesn't that imply that there might be further concessions later
of
on down the
course,
road?
of course. But I just want to remind you, we've been here before, right? In these conflicts. So my ultimate goal here is to understand what is the ultimate goal, right? Because I think I've
I
lost
mean,
sight of.
we've been asking that since day one, right?
Well,
Like,
we
what is the
understand that
ultimate goal?
the ultimate goal was to bring down the regime, which I disagree
That's
with.
not what the stated goal was. The stated goal was for them not to have nukes.
Well, that was the one from last year. I'm talking about this
No,
year's.
that's what he
There's
said this year.
Well, yeah, that they continued to enrich uranium, whatever, which I understood it to be a regime issue. Which, look, I've been on your spaces. I've been with all of you. I think I was the OG person to say Khomeini was a cancer in the Middle East and was a problem, right? But Khomeini's gone, and his son is the Ayatollah now. And what I'm trying to understand essentially is this is not a regime. The regime has not changed. It's had a succession, but it hasn't changed. So I want to know in 2 weeks, what do we do? That's my ultimate question. So I wanted to
George.
I want hold on, Doctor Strange. I wanted to actually engage with Maze being the from my understanding here, the one Iranian on stage. Maybe I missed someone else. Sorry. Maze, what's your take on this?
If
Like,
you
what do
guys
you,
could, before you guys go, everybody listening right now, please go down to the comments section. The only not botted space covering the Iran war at the top right now. Go down to the comments
made
section.
in USA?
Hit made in the USA, baby. Hit the repost button down there. Support American hosts that don't bot. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Maze. You can
That's
respond.
so good. Maze, I really want your take on this. First of all, because of I guess you have skin in the game, whereas everyone here has opinions. Secondly, what do you think happens in 2 weeks, or what do you think is expected? Because I've lost sight of the ball at this point. I'm a bit off.
No, I feel you. And I just really quickly before I answer that question, and since this always comes up every time I'm in here, I think other voices from around the world when this is a global geopolitical event is not a bad thing. I think being able to move around and understand the different perspectives and angles and the news that's coming in, I think is very useful for us because a lot of times
I
everything that's
concur.
kind and so, yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. But in terms of so I will say that I think the ceasefire is really just to negotiate first. I'm going to talk about like how I view Iran's perspective, how I view United States and their kind of entanglement in this, and then my personal opinion. But Iran, I think, is looking for future guarantees of not being attacked. Like they don't want like a herpes flare up every year where there's like this, oh, nuclear, they're a threat and they get, the preemptive attacks. And this is the first time I think that they ever did shut down the Strait of Hormuz temporarily. Then they opened it to non-hostile ships. And I think that considering they border the strait, that's not really unreasonable. And I think it was used as a asymmetrical warfare tactic to pressure the whole world into kind of really doing something about the problem in the Middle East.
Maze, can
Because
I
yeah,
ask you a question there? Just I'm sorry if we dialogue. I don't think it's the first time that they weaponize a strait and shut it down entirely. I think it's happened 2 or 3 times before in the past, where it's their only leverage point is to choke the strait, right? The question is not the strait. We all know that you fuck with Iran, the first thing they do is like, all right, there goes the Strait of Hormuz. We've always known that to be the issue. It's their biggest tactical advantage. My question is, 2 weeks, and for 2 weeks we're going to have some sort of reprieve. Is what does the Iranian if you do you really believe this is a matter of normalizing relationships or not being attacked? I can see something like that. The only problem is now you have this entire nation who's split from what I'm reading. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's about 9 million Iranians who are pro regime, and then the rest are just like completely like, fuck you, regime. How does a country like that even begin to heal when the regime can be severely oppressive and quite literally hang athletes who protest against them in public squares?
well,
That's
those
that's where I'm
athletes
trying to like.
actually killed two police officers with a machete. I know what you're talking about, the instance.
No,
And
no, no. I'm
honestly,
I'm talking about the wrestler. The wrestler was
yeah.
unprovoked.
No, the wrestler, literally, I can show you the post. I'll post it
Oh,
for
I,
you. I'll
I
send it to you.
send it to me.
He killed two police officers with a machete. But just so you know, like I think the numbers that keep coming out of there, and I'm not even going to profess to know the exact numbers of people
It's
that are
impossible
for
to
or
know, right?
against. Huh?
It's fairly impossible to know at this point because there's so much
I mean,
Too
bad
because
much
information.
propaganda. There's too
I
much
hear the
propaganda.
exact inverse of those numbers being like pro and against, and you know, I think ultimately it's really none of our business what happens within their own country. I think that if that is something that they want to revolt against, then they'll find their opportunity. I think this was an opportunity, but they didn't do it. And so, with that being said, we're putting a lot of pressure on the rest of the world, financially, economically, a lot of stress is out there. And it's like Iran, what was happening within their borders, within their political, I guess, I don't know, tensions that they got going on, that has nothing to do with us, right, George? And I think that that is something that is being used as a way to make this some sort of moral endeavor
I
where
agree.
we,
Look, I agree with you. We are not the police of the world, but I guess we can both agree that we've taken that self-proclaimed appointment to become the world hall monitor for some reason.
But they weren't
Since
doing anything, right?
well, no,
Okay,
no, no. Hear me out. Hear me
if
out.
we're
What I'm
going to
trying.
maintain stability in the world, right, which is okay, I'm fine with that. I'd
I
rather have it
disagree.
be
I think that's the
us,
one
us than
role. That's the one role that I don't want
us
us
or
to be.
China, us or
Well,
China,
that's
right?
the problem. That's the problem. Is that
Well, not only that, but
if we
Trump
could
said
if
he
we
wasn't going to bring us
But
into these wars.
If
Yeah,
we
that's
cede
the
if
deal.
we
Is like
cede an
is
inch, China gains an inch. That's the problem. I
but we
understand.
don't have to cede anything. But why we didn't have to go to war with Iran, right? They weren't doing anything that required policing. That's the point, right? Like,
I mean, I think
okay,
we
if
can
they,
agree we don't want Iran to have nukes. Is that fair?
But there was
but
no
That's not fair.
evidence that there
there's no
were.
evidence of nukes. We're in the
That's
whole
Yeah.
in no way fair.
WMD and Iraq fucking loop again. We've seen this story before, right? Weapons of mass destruction, Iraq. We go in there. We're in there for 15 years, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing but bad intelligence, right? It is that all over again.
Is it bad intelligence or is it
No,
misleading
it's Israeli
intelligence?
intelligence.
All right. That
BB's been
you
saying for
And
30 years they're months away from a bomb.
yeah, and I think George, this is one of those times where, this is probably going to be a little bit more difficult for you than for me because I understand where, how you are pro-Israel and I think that but for the most part you've always maintained, your America first. And I think that this is one of those times where,
where I'm
as an
conflicted.
American,
I'm
huh?
super conflicted. I'm super fucking conflicted. I have this supporting Israel does not mean going to war for Israel in my book.
Right.
I don't know what other people think, so let me draw that line. Supporting Israel and going to war for Israel are two very different things, right? And I support Israel. I support their right to defend themselves and all that jazz, right? But I don't believe I should go to war or a country should go to war for Israel. Israel goes to war for Israel. The U.S. goes to war for the U.S. Now, are there geopolitical and national security interests in the Middle East? To an extent, yes. To the extent of this war, that's again, I trust the president and I trust he's doing it in good faith. Where I'm starting to now, for the first time, and this is a first for me, for the first time in a long time, I'm starting to question the motives of the intel. Are they, do they pass the sniff test? Because we currently have
Are you
the
talking
D.
about U.S. intelligence or foreign intelligence?
What I'm saying is, we currently have the director of national intelligence almost not public, but behind the scenes in some level of odds with the information the administration's being given from partner nations. Now, what partner nations, I don't know. Everybody loves to scream Assad, Israel, everything. Like, I don't know that, so I'm not going to go there, right? What I'm trying to say is, I'm America first. I support Israel. I don't support going to war for Israel. I don't know if we're at war for American interests right now or if we're literally at war for Israel. And that's where I'm frustrated. And
Isn't that a problem, George? Isn't that a problem?
the frustration comes from the simple fact Israel is a great ally. Not going to question that. The US has far too many problems right now to focus on going to war for another sovereign nation. So that's where I'm very frustrated. I want to understand, and I believe in this president. I know a lot of you have lost faith. I have not. I think he has, since I've started supporting Donald Trump in the most weirdest, bizarre ways. And he has lost me, not lost my support, but lost me in understanding him more than once, where he does a loop abound, around, about, and he's just like, boom, makes the point. This is just one of those instances where I'm like, okay, I think I got lost here. So
But George, do you
George.
genuinely believe that Israel is a good ally? You genuinely believe that?
strategically, and I who said that actually? I can't see.
Lune,
Lune,
Lune.
there you go. So sorry, it's everybody. There's like four speakers, and everyone else is a listener. So
I know.
sorry.
I didn't even know it was you speaking. I thought it was logic.
Sorry. So, do we sound alike? I think that's an
No, you
offense.
don't.
No,
No, no,
no,
you
That's
you're
don't.
just a
No.
offensive
different
to him.
voice. No.
That if I
I
were
just
good
wasn't sure.
logic, if I were good logic, I would unfriend you
No,
right
it's not
now.
good logic. It's a different logic.
Oh, sorry, my bad. So then I don't even know what I'm talking about. But anyway, my point here is I do believe them to be a good ally, and I'll explain why, Lene. There was a point in time when I can't, Maze, maybe you can remind me. There was a situation, I think it was last year or the year before, and the years are mending. It could have been even 2023. I don't remember, where there was an attack on an American base somewhere in the Middle East. I can't remember where it was. And literally every single quote ally of ours, including Turkey, who's a NATO partner, said that the US could not conduct military operations against Iran from their military base, even though we had been attacked unprovoked by Iran at the time. Israel was the only partner in the Middle East who said, "Hey, it's your base, do your thing." So that those are barometers that I believe allies without conditionals to operate is a true ally, and allies who put all these little red tapes and conditions, I tend to look at them funny. I mean, I'm a big advocate of kicking Turkey out of NATO. I did that officially as a member of Congress. I proposed it. I mean, do not like
Are you,
Erdogan.
can I just clarifying point? Was this after Soleimani was killed? Is that what you're
No, because
in
Soleimani was
2020?
no. This was recent, Mays. I can't remember it's so
That
much
Iran
fucking.
attacked a US military base unprovoked?
There was an instance where Israel and Iran were into a spat, and then the U.S. ended up being collateral damage, a base, because Iran, as they usually do, throw a tantrum and start shooting missiles all over the fucking place. So,
Well, see,
I
because I
there were
think
I
that's
can't
important to
remember.
be precise because
No,
what
no,
I've,
and that's what I'm saying. I
yeah.
can't remember, so I don't want to cite, but I do specifically remember there being all sorts of blockade. And I can go do a quick research and come back with you on that. I'll go on mute, but I just can't remember what was this. It's within the last 2 or 3 years that it happened, and then again, we were collateral damage to like a fucking spat of the. You know what? I think it was after October 7, where Israel all of a sudden got into it with Iran, probably in the beginning of 2024, and then the U.S. wanted to respond, and it was just like a
Are
shit
you not
show.
afraid of
So
publicly
George,
questioning this? Hold on.
go ahead.
Are you mute up, please? Are you not afraid of publicly questioning this policy? Afraid of backlash by the pro-Israel lobbies or the Zionists or
Look,
the
I question. Look, recently I questioned the closure of the holy sites. I thought the Good Friday situation with the church was kind of annoying, and then I questioned and I said, "Look, I want to see if the Western Wall is going to be closed for Passover." Dear God, I mean, the first time you've ever seen me probably question something like that, and I was attacked like by people I never thought I would be, and that's fine. It's so defeatist because I
welcome
am.
to the party,
But
George.
but but here's the deal, Diligent. There's a big difference between people who are hammering Israel. Everything is the Jews. To me, asking a simple question, I like.
I'm not
I'm not
hammering
saying you.
Israel.
I'm not saying you. But I'm saying in general. Like if you want, they gang up. People gang up on people who oppose them and hammer them. Whatever. I asked a question. They said it was disingenuous. This and that. But again, this was not everybody. Okay. Loads of the bigger influencers on Israel was like, George, look, I think you're seeing this from a different lens. But hey, it's your opinion. But there were some people out of the woodworks, people I've never seen before. I do believe I got botted because a lot of the accounts that started just fucking insulting me and going absolutely nuts were like accounts. It was obvious. So I don't know what. I'm not scared. I can hold dialogue. I mean, dude, ask Maze. I hang out in her space. I used to at least hang out in her spaces in the wee hours of the morning, and I was probably the only one who had a very vast different opinion. And I'd have conversations. I'd get called a Zio or whatever, and I thought it was hysterical. And then when it would get a little too heated, I'd say it's time
Seven
to go
thousand
night night.
dollars. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
I don't
So
make $7,000.
George,
If
we're
anybody has
always
my
glad to
check,
see you
I
in here.
want it.
We're always glad to see you in here, George. Um, for sure. I got to jump soon, but on the question of uh, the peace talks or whatever, Iran has not agreed to unconditionally open the Straits of Hormuz, period. And this may give Trump a fig leaf to kick the can down the road another 2 weeks, keep everybody going. But make no mistake, I got translations from the original Farsi, and there is nothing in there about opening the Straits of Hormuz unconditionally for 2 weeks. So, in my view, they did not comply. They're not
We're
complying.
past the
This,
deadline. 13 minutes past the
yeah,
deadline.
they're saying let's talk about it for 2 more weeks. And the Iranians are good at talking about stuff. I mean, they really are. and they're
So are the
really
Americans. Americans talk a big
yeah,
game. I mean, that's
yeah.
our
Well,
I
that's
mean,
our
we
I've
bravado.
literally bombed them mid negotiations, George, and
I,
that's the
I've had negotiations with Iranians. They're like, I come out of there, and I'm generally a good one. I would go,
Look,
oh
you
my
come
god,
out of
what?
there dizzy. Trust me. I
Yeah,
had to go pitch
there
to
we go.
be elected by Iranians in
Yeah,
masses at Great Neck in
all
New
right.
York. Believe me, I would come out of those
Yeah,
rooms dizzy. They
yeah.
Well,
talk
George,
But let
circles
me
listen,
say
around
you
you.
one
guys,
other thing about Doctor Strange. I
our side
generally agree
doesn't
with
get.
them. I certainly agree with them about campaign finance. The one thing I will say on behalf of Israel is they have over the decades tried to exchange land for peace. They have. Now, I question Netanyahu's, I think he's just tried to sabotage everything. But over the decades, the Israelis have given up land in an attempt to get peace. It's never worked. So I'm going to land there.
Oh, look,
Terry, okay, first of
Terry.
all,
I'll say
Terry and
this.
George, wait one
Hold,
second, guys.
what?
One second.
I just
Terry,
wanted to make a
the
point.
Israelis give up
Let
land after they take it.
Let George respond to him, and Rabbi, you can go
All right,
next.
go ahead.
Terry, to your point, this is something that I guess it took me going to federal prison and coming out to realize, and I said this to Diligent and to Maze and early on Spaces. I am so done with BB, and this is a person that I used to like literally go up and above and beyond. I'm done. Like he has become the single most toxic figure for any goodwill conversation in any setting in the Middle East. And it's not like maybe it's because he's just who he is. I'm not saying he's a bad man because of that. I'm just saying, dude, every negotiation, whether you're acting in bad faith or not, I don't know. I don't have any proof to say that. But it seems that everything that BB's involved seems to fizzle out and spiral out of control. And it always ends up in conflict. So I said this, I got massive backlash, but I'll double down and say he has become quite literally the merchant of death of modern history. And
Well,
whether
he's injured Israel's goodwill in this country immeasurably, even
immeasurably,
with people
and
like
it's
me.
sad. And
And
it's
yes,
sad.
it's horrible. And he has done more to create conflict than anybody over there.
I
But
think this anti
anyway,
Israel sentiment that we're seeing have an uprise on both the left and the right youth. It is a sub 30 issue currently in this country where sub 30-year-old individuals on both sides of this political spectrum loathe Israel and have a negative sentiment towards Israel because of Bibi. And I think that could be easily the single-handed most self-destructive characteristic a human being can carry for their nation. Again, this is not an indictment on him personally. It's just on his political leadership. And if I don't know what else to say, but President Herzog is a
I
severely better and more empathetic leader for Israel than the prime minister currently
just look
is.
at the fruits of
well,
Netanyahu. That's all you have to do.
yeah,
You
and I
know,
think that there's like this, this not everyone can have a conversation like you, George, unfortunately. There's a complete allegiance to the state of Israel. Like, so let's just say Netanyahu wasn't always this very aggressive, like, um anti, he's just like he's been carrying out the very right wing, like radical Likud party ambition. And let's just say that there wasn't a huge, like, I don't know, like it's a very clear allegiance to the state of Israel to where people would defend it, even though, let's just say, they don't agree with it. It's like, if that's the case, then that makes all of the, like, it becomes more about Israel than just more about the leadership of Israel, you know? But those that are able to talk about it and condemn the things that they're doing, I think help. It helps it not be very focused on, just all of the Israelis being this way. I'm just kind of speaking in from the psychological angle of, how people perceive Israel is like everyone, even that are pro-Israel, defend everything that Israel's doing, even though those things, are egregious. But the ones that would actually condemn the egregious acts and kind of make it more about this is the very radical, like right wing Likud that wants to do these things. I think that would help. I did see Destiny's hand up really quick. I just want to tap in with her before she forgets what she's going to say. And then we can
Maze,
go.
before
Yeah, I need to
Terry
build off his question too.
Maze, before
Okay.
Terry leaves, can I just respond back to him quickly?
Okay. Yeah. Is he leaving?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
he said he's leaving. Terry, I agree with you in regards to what you said about Israel. If we go back to Yitzhak Rabin's time, I completely agree. I think he was probably the best chance Israel had in terms of obtaining peace, but we saw what happened to him. And when we go back to the Cold War era, I think the dynamics are so different that I don't even want to count that. But in the past 30 years, since the 1990s, ever since the Cold War, I would say that that's not really been the case where, with the exception of Yitzhak Rabin, where they were willing to trade land for peace. I don't think it's actually been the opposite, I would say. I'll land there. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Strange. Go ahead, Des. And then we'll go to Falu to respond to George too.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, for me, like on my end, George just shows this connecting the whole time, so I haven't heard a word he said. So if you can cycle me out, Diligent, I appreciate it.
Diligent went to go walk his dog for a second. He'll be right back.
Diligent
Okay,
cares
when he
for
comes
another
back,
living
let him know.
creature.
I'll wait till he gets back.
Wait. Diligent cares for another living creature,
Of course.
and
Only online where you can't see him.
said creature is still alive.
Go ahead, Falu.
What's so
George,
damn funny?
the first thing you said when you came in, George, I don't think you actually answered it, but I think I know where you were going. You asked, okay, we killed the Ayatollah this week, right? The week prior, or the year later, be prior, we bombed them. We're supposed to have gotten rid of all the nukes. Then we didn't get rid of the nukes, and we killed the leader. And then then what's next? And I'm guessing that was they kill the next leader, and then they kill the next leader, and the next leader, and that's how it's going to go. I don't think it's ever going to stop. And was
Well,
that
that's
kind of
my
where you were going
point.
with that?
Well, my point is, my point is simple. I think that this is plain and simple. It could be very well intended, removing a hostile leadership out of Iran, but I would just really, because from what I look at it, it just screams regime change.
Yeah.
And look, and then at the risk of having all of you yell at me, which I'm kind of used to it at this point, especially Maze when she gets upset at me. Um, here's the deal, being very straightforward. If there was a place on earth that I said we need regime change, Iran was always at the top of my list. And I'm not going to backtrack this or sugarcoat it because it's on the congressional record. I didn't say it once, I said it multiple times. And it is an adversarial nation to America. And if they ever could, I'm not saying they did or they're close, whatever. I don't know the true facts of that because I'm not in government anymore. So, but if they ever could develop a way to hurt America, they would. They definitely would.
What do you base
That's
that on, George?
based on their speech. I believe in what they say, Maze. That death to America, death to the devil. Like that's what they call us, right?
Well,
So when
okay,
you're
well, go ahead.
chanting
And
death,
then,
when you're chanting death to a nation, I mean, if you could,
but
you would do it, right?
And this is
no,
okay. This is the
I disagree.
stupidest reason I've ever heard. I'm
I
sorry.
think from a
Go ahead.
free speech country, okay, we should be able to have more room for and especially
It's a
dissenting.
generalization and it's a cheap
Guys,
excuse.
I get it.
Even if it wasn't a
Yeah.
generalization, you're willing to go
Well,
to war with a country because they called us a name? Are you kidding?
no, that is not what I said.
Well, what he's
You're
saying is that if
justifying
there
you're
was
No,
ever
justifying
I'm not
killing
a
their people.
justifying.
country, okay,
Let him
what?
answer. Let him respond to you. You
Yeah.
can't.
I'm not saying that. I guess I'm resuming. I'm giving you a quick like roundabout of what my stances have been in the past. Obviously, it is far more deep rooted than that. But in the grand scheme of things, Iran does have a problematic leadership. But it's not my job
So does
to.
Israel.
So do we.
I think I just said that right
Oh, you
about
did?
Israel.
Sorry, I didn't.
I did about Bibi. I think I just
The
cleared
whole
the
Get
air.
her,
regime.
George. Get her.
No.
Well,
I'm no. It's just like I literally just said that about Bibi. So what I'm saying is, and then I can say like, we
do
have the
we have
same
the right
issue.
to go remove his ass? Can we do that,
We
George?
don't. That's the point. We don't. We don't. And that's where you get me.
Why
And
not?
that's
We
what
pay his salary.
And that's what we're doing, though, right? Like that's literally
I
what
understand.
they're going to keep doing until we get a leader in there that we want or we can control. Like, and I don't think
Look,
that's what people
and
don't realize. Like, this won't end.
here's
We've
a
seen it.
better.
That's the last state or the last country that we've done the regime change to. That's completely crazy, and it's not going to stop until they
Who
get
am
what
I
they want and they
talking
can
to?
control things. Oh, it's
Who's
flu. It's
talking?
flu.
Oh, okay. Sorry, because it says you're a listener, dude. Sorry about that. So,
Yeah, it's not.
Felipe, so,
The
so,
spaces suck.
so my point that you're saying is it didn't work in Afghanistan. It didn't work in Iraq.
Right.
It clearly we gave Syria to a terrorist. So I totally get that. Like I'm not here making excuses, but clearly this is a regime change operation. So I think it would be the expectations for people would be better
Well, no, I
adjusted
think
if
that's
we
what you asked
said
coming
that.
in. I don't think people
Yeah,
caught that. I caught it. I
that's
thought
what
that
I
was
was
completely true.
that's
Now
what
that
I'm trying to get at.
Dilly's back, Dilly, Des requested to be recycled because
He brought me
I,
back up already.
oh shit, I missed
I'm
all
way
that.
ahead
Okay,
of
my
you.
bad.
I'm way ahead of you.
Yeah,
Okay, my bad.
he's on ball.
Okay,
Hi,
go
George.
ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Diligent. Can I add something to this with George real quick? This is Paul. If I can interject something,
Yeah,
I
just
feel
do it.
like
You know, just do it.
Yeah, I feel like you're missing out on part of this too, though, George, which is you can't rule out what is the driving force that led Trump to make these decisions. And you have to look at the people that he's getting advice from that are around him in his cabinet. And you have to look at his spiritual advisor, people like this Paula White. When you were talking about why does the youth on both sides rejecting Israel, well, it comes actually from rejecting the Christian Zionism movement that we have, the evangelical movement in this country. They see the hypocrisy of it. When you see Tucker Carlson expose Mike Huckabee and Ted Cruz by showing them these guys are not even reading prophecy correctly or the Bible, and they're using it out of context for political gains, it looks nefarious. I mean, nobody would like
Paul,
the
here's what
Pope.
I'll say to
Go
you.
ahead.
I hate politicians who quote scripture to justify their lawmaking. Always have, always will. It was my biggest pet peeve is when politicians inside the dirtiest place on earth, which is Capitol Hill, start a speech with scripture, I literally, it's like instantly zone out. Like, oh, everything after that to me is a chicken clocking. Bark, 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 bark. That's all I hear. Like you lose me 100% when you open any speech with scripture in the political field because
Well,
it's
George,
so disingenuous. It is so frustrating because here's something that nobody understands about me. I'm pro-life. Guess what? I'm also anti the death penalty. I do not support the death penalty in America. And a lot of conservatives are like, firing squad. I'm like, bro, you can't be pro-life and then be pro-death penalty. Like you gotta be consistent, and I have this argument all the time. So spare me when you talk to me about scripture and politicians because
right.
it's always egregious. It's always backwards and warped.
And I agree with you, George. But what I'm saying too is the biggest voting bloc in MAGAs, the evangelical movement, they're the ones who are pushing for this because of other agendas. When you see that Pete Hegseth literally believes in the third temple and he's in charge of the strongest military in the entire world, that's a red flag for me because people always say, what do they prioritize? God, country, family, or God, family, country? Well, God over country, and you have a guy who is saying that the third temple should be built in another country while being in charge of the world's most powerful military. I'm just saying it's red flags. I wouldn't want the Pope, and I'm Catholic, I wouldn't want the Pope to dictate American foreign policy. And we shouldn't want any, theological movement to have that kind of power. And they do. You go look at Christians United for Israel, the Faith and Freedom Coalition. These people put boots on the ground and have rallies where they send their people into the halls of Congress. They do it very strategically. And it's not just the money. Everyone points to AIPAC. Well, who do you think supports and holds up AIPAC? It's the Christian Zionist movement. So I think they've done more damage to the reputation of the Israelis. I think that they are actually the ones who are the anti-Semites because they make it hard for good practicing American Jews here who don't want any of this hatred, and it's building animosity towards them because we look violent. And, in terms of the American government supporting a violent and aggressive Israeli government, it's going to have some side effects, and it just makes everybody look violent and aggressive. And the youth, they see through how disingenuous all of this is.
But can we actually fault him for playing the game the way that it is set out? Like The game is set out that way, and they are playing the game to their favor. Can we fault them? It's like, why ain't the Catholics doing it? Why ain't the Christians doing it? Why ain't the Muslims doing it? Like, they are in their own little ways, but we kind of focus on the Jews doing it. So,
No,
like,
look,
can
Because
we
it's
fault them to
logical
play the game?
not to do
who
that.
is this
Wait a
Folly
minute.
speaking
Wait a
again?
minute. It's
No,
the
this
game
is
you're
logic. It's
describing
Oh,
logic.
is
Logic.
called taking
I don't know.
advantage. It's
Oh,
like
okay, Logic.
they're
Okay.
literally weaponizing our military against their enemies. Okay. And the
No, no,
thing
no. I
is, when
think
you
that's a
try and
little
talk
different.
about it, they've put all these hooks into our culture so that we get called bigoted for pointing it out. That's evil. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
In what
but our culture
regard?
and our culture in our country allows for that to happen. You see what I mean? So it's
That's the
like
I know
they're
Christian
playing the game
natural
that's
must
path.
be
allowed.
closed. That is a
I know, I
vulnerability that
agree.
must be closed.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying it's like we're trying to fault them for playing the game to their best interest, and I don't think that's the way to do it. I
But
think we
the
need to
whole
go and
idea of
figure out
playing the
how
game
to
does
how
not
to level
exist
it
in
for
Christian
ourselves.
doctrine.
No, we do have to
Well, right, well,
level it.
right.
That's the thing. But the point is, every attempt to level it by definition is going to be called racist, bigoted, Naziist because of the way that the framework has been put in place. You see, they're tabling bills to make it the same, to make it officially legally anti-Semitism to criticize Israel's policy in the Middle East. Okay, which means everything you do to try and peel back this framework that's been put in place to keep us marching in one direction is going to be criminalized. Do you get it?
Well, right. I know, right. I agree with you, but what I'm saying is that's the game of the United States. That's the Constitution. That's the way Congress has set it up. They're playing it just better than everybody else.
But they're not.
And
They're going
how?
around our government. That's the point.
I'm not so sure because if they were going around our government, then it wouldn't be allowed, right?
No,
So it's like
It
they're
no.
isn't
playing the
allowed. They
game the
do
way
go
the
around our
system is.
government.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding
So
me?
like so
It wouldn't be
so
allowed.
so give some examples of how they go
Okay, should
around our
APAC
Constitution
register
and
as a
laws.
foreign agent lobby like everyone else has to? Yes, that's an
Well,
example of
it's
them
a
going
Every
it,
around
Zionist
the
billionaire
rules.
using their
it's an
money to
it's
influence
an
our
American.
elections? Are you kidding me? That's the
Hold on, wait.
literal
I agree
definition of
with
going
you.
around our
Let him
democracy.
respond. Let him respond.
I agree with you that having money in politics, we need to get that out, right? I agree. Citizens United was one of the worst things that ever happened. Okay, we can't allow that type of thing to happen. But
Agreed. Citizens United is a cancer ruling.
but that thing has happened, right?
You can't
So
talk over him. He's on an Android, so he's too loud. So you can't talk
sorry.
over him. Nobody can understand
So
anything that's being said when you try to talk over him. Land your plane though,
sorry.
Logic, so we can move it around.
So Citizens United's already been decided, right? So they've decided that they're going to play the game in the way that they want to play it, right? They're doing what they're supposed to do for themselves, okay? And we can't fault them for doing that, but we can go and put in place the
No, we
things that
can't.
we need to do to safeguard. Well, we can make it to where Citizens
I mean,
United
we
is
can still
overturned.
fault them for exploiting us, right? Like,
Well, in what
but really, it's
Diligent, how are they
ultimately.
exploiting?
Hold on. Ultimately, it's our fault for allowing it to fucking happen. This has always been my
Correct.
position.
Well,
If a
what's the
foreign country,
exploitation?
if a foreign well, not being registered with FARA for one, but if a foreign country can lobby our politicians and have massive influence on our geopolicy, then it's because we're allowing that to happen. It could be any country. It doesn't matter if it's Israel. It could be China. It could be Russia. It
Do you
could
know what
be.
APAC stands for?
I understand what APEC stands for.
It's America Israel Political Action Committee.
Yeah.
It's not a foreign government
It
lobbying.
acts.
Oh,
It
all right. They put the
acts.
word America in the name,
Hold
so it's
on.
not
Hold
a
on. Hold on.
foreign
I don't want to have this
committee.
whole. I
I
don't want to have
understand.
this. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Mute up. Mute up. It still acts on behalf of a foreign country. It lobbies for pro-Israel policy. So that means it is acting in the
100%.
benefit
100%. But
of a foreign country.
it's Americans and American citizens who lobby for that. There
So a
are
bunch of Iranians can have an Iranian, let's just say an American
Right. Like what
Iranian.
other country do we allow? What
Maze, to
other
your
country do we
surprise,
allow this to happen to this extent? We don't. We don't.
you'd be shocked. Give me a second and I'll land that there. Maze, I don't know if you would be shocked or not because I think you've seen a lot, but APAC is heavily funded by Iranian Jews, Persian Jews, like
But
specifically out of Beverly Hills and out of Great Neck, New York. The amount
okay,
of money
but
that
my
flows from
point is
Persian
that
You're not
Jews,
it's
helping your
not.
case.
But would you be okay with
I'm
there being
not trying to
funding?
help my case. I'm just
No,
stating
I
the
know, I
fact.
know. I know that there's
I don't care
Iranian
about helping my
sources,
own case. I'm stating the fact.
but I'm asking you a question. So if
What's the
there was a
question?
pact that was all funding pro-Iranian policies, they would have to go through FARA. Even though it's Iranians that are American that are putting money into it, they would still have to go and they would have to go through FARA and just disclose where the money comes from. They're subjected to more additional disclosures. Why isn't Israel subjected to that?
So let me try to grasp what's going on here, because I think we're all getting, and I'm not saying anybody doesn't understand this, but I think we're all getting